the day with the dawn ringing in my ears. Oh, I tune into my TV show. No better way, I gotta get myself into gear. Let's go. Oh, and I feel good today with my wake up in the morning espresso. I feel good today. It's my feel good breakfast show.
I don't think I can ever get sick of our theme song. Good morning to you. Yes, this is your Feel Good Breakfast Show, and today it's all about that feel good factor right here. Good morning, I'm Zoe Brown, and we're all about that random act of kindness and the different campaigns that's running around us. And in fact, we want you to be involved, from supporting Slip a Day to making a sick child's dream come true, to running to raise awareness to find a cure for spinal injuries. We are injecting that feel good feeling today on your Feel Good Breakfast Show, and it's all about putting the others' needs in front of our own. Now, so join us this morning and find out how you can take part in making a difference. I know there are quite a few people that have that in their heart and they just don't know where to get involved. Hopefully, by all of these wonderful campaigns that we bring to you, you'll be able to put your foot behind it and, of course, support them. But we have a lot coming up, so let's say good morning to the G-Man. Hey, G.
Oh, good morning, young lady. Yep, we're going to sink our teeth into this one. This is our happy place. In fact, this is our DNA. This is how and why our show was created. We're all about the why, and today we connect with some incredible whys. If you're looking for a purpose-driven act, today is the day to make that connection. So I want to hear from you guys what that looks like for you. What does a random act of kindness mean to you? Is it big? Is it small? How do you express that? And what difference do you think it can make? How do you show care in the people around you's lives? How do you change their narrative? How do you add positivity? How do you make a big change? How do you make a small change? What do you think is most important? Today is all about acts of kindness. So we're going to start that right now by empowering you. Our first act of kindness, a little education in terms of what's going on in the world around us. And then we're going to delve into our first medical discussion for the day. And of course, I will touch on the sports in just a mo. But let's get the ship going and get into those news headlines with Zoe.
Thank you, Graham. Let's touch on those national headlines. The humanitarian organization Gift of the Givers says it has notified the government of 22 South Africans stranded on a boat in Egypt. They were working on a project in Sudan but had to flee due to the fighting in Khartoum and elsewhere. Gift of the Givers says these South Africans have been waiting for 3 days for permission to board a flight to South Africa. The SA Embassy in Cairo has been alerted of their plight. They don't have the proper documentation to board a flight home from Egypt. And staying with our local news, Workers' Day was celebrated worldwide yesterday. The trade union federation COSATU's main rally was at Bethlehem in the Free State. President Cyril Ramaphosa emphasized a number of issues being faced by society, including poverty, unemployment, and inequality in his address there. At a COSATU rally in East London, ANC chairperson Gwede Mantashe said almost 80% of the country's workforce don't belong to unions. Mantashe said the fact that only 21% of workers were union members meant that unions' influence was weakening, and this could lead to the exploitation of workers. Moving to news abroad, the United Nations warned yesterday that some 800,000 people may flee Sudan as rival military factions battle in the capital Khartoum despite a supposed ceasefire. Hundreds of people have been killed and thousands wounded in 16 days of fighting since disputes between the Sudanese army and the paramilitary rapid support forces erupted into conflict on April 15th. UN Refugee Deputy Chief said his agency was planning for an exodus of 815,000 people, including 580,000 Sudanese, as well as foreign refugees now living in the country. Staying with news abroad, the World Bank has introduced new methodology to measure the business climate in some 180 countries. The ranking was discontinued 2 years ago after irregularities were revealed, which, among other things, indicated the favoring of China. The revelations were embarrassing for the bank. The first report in the new format will initially focus on a number of economies in Asia, Latin America, Europe, the Middle East, and Sub-Saharan Africa. In the next 2 years, more countries will be added. The bank says the list aims to help countries attract investment. And bringing it back home, a retired Limpopo teacher from Zumwali village near Toyadando in Limpopo has received enormous praise for an incredible act of kindness and commitment. 65-year-old Anna Ramabulana has built a state-of-the-art creche for her poverty-stricken community with money from her own pocket at an astronomical cost of 700,000 rand. This she dedicated to the community. It's the first of its kind in this poverty-stricken village and includes offices, a sick bay, an ablution facility and classroom. A local church donated a piece of land for the building of the facility. Ramabulana retired some 9 years ago due to ill health. She says her passion for education and love of children were her motivation. Ramabulana said, and I quote, "I'm a teacher by trade. I adore children and I wish them to have a neat classroom." Well, Miss Ramabulana, what a wonderful gesture. We certainly doff our caps to you. Well, on that very inspiring note, that's where I leave your morning headlines. Let's take a first look at your sport.
Thank you so much, sir. After that unbelievably positive story, let's see if there's a positive thread in the sport for you this morning. Let's start with local footy. Swallows earned a vital 3 points in their quest for safety after clinching that 2-1 victory against CAF Champions League, chasing Kaizer Chiefs. The Dubai Birds are up to 8th on the table on 34 points, while 16th place Maritzburg on 25 at the moment, and then 15th place Chippa, they're on 26. Both have 3 games left, but it's going to go down to the wire. Can still force the calculations to come out. And then Chiefs' hopes of finishing as runners-up to the league winners Mamelodi Sundowns and joining Masandawana in next season's Champions League campaign are now starting to fade. They are now 5 points adrift of second-placed Orlando Pirates, who seem to be gaining some brilliant late momentum in the season. Now let's turn to rugby. Rugby Australia boss Andy Marinos. Yep, we know him well. He resigned on Monday, 4 months out from the World Cup in France, saying it was time to move on. That was after returning the organisation to profit. The Zimbabwe-born 50-year-old was appointed chief executive in late 2020 after 5 years running the Southern Hemisphere governing body SANZAR, which he did really well. And his departure comes a week after the governing body had announced it had returned the business to profit for the first time in 4 years. Marinos was widely seen as instrumental in helping revive the once cash-strapped organisation. Clearly a job well done. Now we turn to cricket, definitely not cash-strapped cricket. The Royal Challengers Bangalore, their bowlers starred to secure an 18-run victory against the Lucknow Super Giants in a low-scoring IPL match yesterday. So skipper Faf du Plessis, he top scored as he generally does with 44 to help guide Bangalore to a 126 for 9. Not that imposing. A total their bowlers defended brilliantly by bowling out Lucknow for 108 on what was undoubtedly a tough batting pitch. Certainly aided them. Josh Hazelwood and Karl Sharma starring with the ball, taking 2 wickets apiece. The du Plessis is once again the orange cap holder with some 463 runs in the tournament already. And yes, it's a T20 tournament. Now we turn to tennis. World number 2 ranked Arina Sabalenka made light work of 16-year-old Mira Andreeva on Monday with a 6-3, 6-1 win to reach the Madrid Open quarterfinals. The Russian youngster Andreeva is a wildcard, became only the 3rd 15-year-old to win a WTA 1000 main draw match. That was when she beat 2021 US Open finalist Leylah Fernandez last week. Then world number 3, Daniel Medvedev on the gents side. He edged out his good friend and compatriot Alexander Shevchenko 4-6, 6-1 and 7-5 to reach the 4th round. And that's where we leave our sport for now. Of course, a brand new day. Let's get a global weather perspective on some of those local temperatures.
Thank you, Graham. And before we get into those temperatures, here's some international news. Spain recorded its hottest ever temperature for April on Thursday, hitting 38.8 degrees Celsius at Cordoba Airport. This after a blistering heat wave driven by a mass of very hot air from Africa entered the country, with temperatures 10 to 15 degrees Celsius warmer than expected for April. The high temperatures come on top of long-running droughts in many parts of Spain. Some reservoirs are only 25% full. This raises the prospect of early forest fires, with the National Weather Services warning that large parts of the country could be at risk. Spain saw the most land burned in any country in Europe in 2022. Last year was the hottest summer on record for Europe. Dr. Samantha Burgess of the Canopicus Climate Change Service says climate change is playing a pivotal role in weather events, and this includes the heat wave Spain is experiencing. Well, that's your international news. We now bring it back to your sunrise views. Kicking us off this Tuesday morning is Shanu from Pietermaritzburg, sharing this beautiful image of her morning view. The skies filled with outstanding hues from the sun. Then Mark from George sent in this breathtaking image of the cloudy-filled sky with the sun on the rise. Just look at that golden glare. Azalea from Pearly Beach shared her morning view from her garden, absolutely stunning. Ashina from Umhlanga Rocks shared her view from her apartment overlooking the ocean. How blissful. We are actually quite jealous of that view. Well, if you have a good morning view to share with us, we would love to see it. Please send it through. 063 408 8863 is our WhatsApp number. But let's get into your temperatures for today. Starting off in Polokwane, your low is 13, your high 28. Mbombela 17.33. Pretoria, your low is 15, your high 26. Johannesburg 13 with a high of 24. Mahikeng 19.29. Klerksdorp 12 with a high of 28. Kimberley 6 with a high of 30. Bloemfontein 4 with a high of 28. Richards Bay 20 reaching a high of 28. Pietermaritzburg 16.27. Durban, a low of 21 and a high of 26 can be expected. Mthatha 12.22. East London 15.23. Cradock, a low of 9, a high of 24 for today. Kabeja, your low is 13, your high 22. George 12.21. Cape Town 11 with a high of 20. If you're in Worcester, 8 is your low, 23 your high. Sutherland 4 with a high of 20, and Uppington a sunny day with a low of 7 and a high of 29 degrees Celsius. Well, that's the first look at your weather. We'll have another one shortly after 7.
Thank you so much, Zozo. I know she is just as excited as me and the rest of this amazing Expresso team about helping you find your purpose. It's all about the why, those acts of kindness, and they're not random. We're going to find the organization, the initiative to match to your purpose. And when it comes to palliative care, you might not know what that entails, but it might be holding the key for you and your situation. So we're going to have a 3-part discussion and really find out what happens in the space and how we can help. We'll see you in a moment.
Join the bank that's best for your loan. Choose up to 200 Rand cashback monthly with a personal loan. Apply for a personal loan and a savvy account today. Nedbank, see money differently.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Now, South Africa's leading palliative care organizations gathered for a conference last week from the 26th to the 29th of April in Cape Town, where a wide range of topics were discussed and where the theme was palliative care is everyone's business. Now, this morning, Melissa Williams-Platt runs Footprints for SAM, a charity that helps medical staff dealing with critically ill children to be better able to do their work by offering practical solutions for incredibly stressful jobs, as you can imagine. Now, Tracy Brand is a palliative care social worker, and both are with us this morning to discuss this very, I think, sensitive topic. Ladies, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
I'm glad we're talking about this. Just off air, we spoke very quickly that, I had the experience of my grandma that was in palliative care, and, as difficult as it was, I found new respect for the work that you guys do, because it's so much more than just caring for that specific person. It's the entire process. Even after she passed away, the care that they took with regards to my family and making sure that everything was in place. So it is such a vital part of our industry. So thank you very much for unpacking this a little bit. I want to start with you, Tracy.
Yeah.
When we speak about palliative care, what exactly does that mean?
I think if you look at palliative care, it comes from the Latin word pallios, which means to cloak. And the idea is that it's from the moment of diagnosis to whatever the end of that illness is, whether it be recuperation or end of life. And it's about looking holistically at the patient and at the family. So as a palliative care team, we're looking at what are the physical symptoms, what are the emotional symptoms, what is the psychosocial stuff, the spiritual crisis, where do we fit culture in? And it's about, as a team, looking at addressing the needs, all of those needs of the patient and of the family.
And it is, like you say, it's such a wide scope of things that you are looking at, and that is why it is so important. And I think it gives just some peace of mind, Melissa, to families. So what exactly does it offer? I think I touched on it a little bit in the beginning, but from your side, what does it offer for families and those patients as well?
It's, our son, so maybe to give a bit of context, so Footprints for Sam is really the legacy of our son, Sam. And he was in hospital, born into hospital, and died in hospital. He never, ever went outside. So 15 and a half months in hospital. And I came from the corporate sector and then was in hospital every single day. And although we were in a private facility, so very privileged, I still was unheard, unseen, kind of pay the medical aid and don't have an opinion.
Sure.
And when we were questioning their trust and their ability, which was not what I was doing. I was just trying to be a mom, being accountable, making decisions for my son. And for me, Sam was our first child. So, all of our hopes and dreams were tumbled into an ICU isolation room. And we never knew from day to day if Sam would live. The first 3 months were really quite crazy. And I only got to hold him at 3 months. And had we had a palliative team, which was never offered to us, it would have been so different, because as Trace said, palliation is about recognizing a chronic condition. So sometimes we don't wait and shouldn't wait for diagnosis, because in Sam's instance, he was only diagnosed about 2 or even a month before he died. So when a child is recognized as having complex symptoms, we need to have a multidisciplinary team that looks at not just the patient, in this instance, a baby. And remember, children can't necessarily tell you what's going on.
Exactly.
So as palliative specialists, we learn to really look at the whole person, mind, body, and soul. And with Sam's journey, as I said, it was privilege. So when he died at Red Cross Children's Hospital, we witnessed what other families were going through, and we thought, how do we make it different for them? How do we protect them as much as we can? Obviously, there are thousands of children, so we can't for everyone. But one of our big drives was advocacy, to say, how do we do things differently, and what is palliative care? So I was asked to talk at a conference, and I said, this is what medicine should look like. And everybody said, that's palliative care. And I said, no, that's death and dying. And they said, no, it's not.
Sure.
And as you witnessed, yes, sometimes it's end of life. But with children, it's often the trajectory of their illness. So they can live for years, but they have a chronic condition that needs a team to look after them.
Exactly, because like you rightly said, you're a mother and you still need to go out and you need to do your things, and you need to know that your child is in good, capable hands. And also, like you said, I mean, there's always room for improvement. I mean, yes, you guys are doing phenomenal work, and that's where the conference comes in. We'll touch on the conference in just a little bit. We'll be back with Melissa and Tracy in just a little bit. Thank you very much, ladies, once again for joining us.
Thank you.
Baie dankie Strydom. Well, winter coats, they are in, jackets, they are here, and truly these are investment pieces that will elevate any winter outfit and provide warmth on cooler days, and yes, you will look oh so chic. Now today I am styled in some jeans. I've got this really cute polo neck knit and a pair of boots, but I need your help to help me choose between these two stylish coats. So it is #Tuesday in case you were confused. Yes, it is a Tuesday. And this is option 1. We're going to go for this fluffy teddy coat that will deliver cozy and warmth as well as that effortless chic style. Or we can go for option 2, which is this classic trench coat. It is a timeless and very versatile item that also lasts seasons to come. The cool thing is, at the moment, if you head on over to Woolies, you can get 30% off on any of these coats that you like. But for now, I need you to head on over to our social media pages and vote for your favorite coat on Expresso's page. Let me know which one you would like me to wear for the remainder of the show. We're going to go option 1 or option 2. And don't forget that #styled by Woolies.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Right, we are back. Melissa Williams-Platt and Tracy Brand are still with us this morning as we continue on the topic of palliative care. Now, palliative care is meant to enhance a person's current care by focusing on quality of life for them and their family. Welcome back, ladies. Thank you very much. The conference, I want to speak about the palliative care conference. What do you feel are some of the key objectives that you could witness and see come to light out of this? Because we spoke about the fact that there's always room for improvement. How do we take this that came out of this conference and move forward and apply it in the real world, Tracy?
I think the interesting thing is, as you said, the theme was palliative care is everybody's business. And I think we have to start moving away from the fact that palliative care can only be provided by palliative care specialists. Palliative care is part of medicine, and what we looked at in the conference was how do we keep it to be relevant, inclusive, and sustainable. And as a World Health Organization country, we signed a resolution stating that as South Africa, we will incorporate palliative care in all levels of healthcare. So from your primary healthcare clinics through to your tertiary and quaternary hospitals. And I think people have come away with ideas of how do we now really enforce this resolution that we are part of, that we have got a plan for, and how do we get government to actually start saying it isn't just about end of life, it's about that kid in the clinic who's got a burn, they need palliative care. They need good pain control, they need good symptom control, they don't need the burn just to be treated.
And not just the medicine to
and
try
not
make
just
it better.
the medicine. So it's about looking at how do we go away from the appendicitis in bed 5 to Ewan in bed 5 who has an appendicitis, and what does that mean?
And how do we deal with it holistically?
Exactly. It's not just dealing with his pain and the nausea and the vomiting. Is he worried about missing school? Is he worried about his, is his mom okay? And I think that those discussions were really vibrant, and it's about everybody now coming together and saying, right, how do we make this happen? How do we make government stand up and say, we need you, and we need you to do it with us, not just the NGOs going forward.
No, it's impossible,
It's impossible. There are only a few of us.
Yeah, there's only a few of you. Yeah, and thank you for the few of you that's there. Melissa, I've got to ask you, I mean, I don't really like to refer back to it because it's been such a gripping part of our lives, but the pandemic.
Yes.
But if we look back at it, it did teach us a lot of lessons.
Yeah.
What did you see come out of the whole pandemic, with regards to palliative care, where we are, and still what is needed?
Yeah. I think for everybody, and I'm a life coach by profession, and, everybody, I think it really raised the fact that life's not easy. And I think you've probably noticed since the pandemic, people are really struggling. And I think for me, what came out of the pandemic, and as an organization and working with Umduzuzi and other organizations like Patch, is we have to work together. Because life is hard. And I think, the COVID brought up a lot of the cracks. And a lot of people don't know how to deal with that trauma and how to, kind of get through what happened. And medicine is exactly the same. So with health professionals, many of them were already at the kind of the end of the runway. And they weren't positioned necessarily to deal with death and dying. Patients were dying alone. And the stories and the grief and the loss that one's hearing now, there's so much kind of real, almost post-traumatic grief in terms of what's happened.
And if that was managed in a better, like we spoke about, a more holistic way, it could help with that healing.
Yeah. So I think palliative care, in essence, as we've said, is about the whole person. And I often get into trouble when I say this, but it's really just good medicine. And we have to teach medicine differently because, as Tracy said, the handful of us out there, and the NGOs are so good at collaborating, but we need to train the students. And how do we choose medical students? Because it's not just about IQ, it's also about EQ.
EQ, which is sometimes, the more important factor.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
What do you remember? So with Sam's journey, I remember the harsh words that were said to us. And I always say when I speak to medical students and we train them about communication and breaking really difficult news is, and I don't like the word difficult, maybe challenging and hard. We have to have those hard conversations. Because when you hear that a patient is dying and they didn't know they were dying, that's not okay. And the family's left with whiplash because how did my family member die without me knowing? How did my loved one die without me saying goodbye? And as I said earlier, it's not about death and dying, but it is part of it.
And it puts a lot of stress on the family members, looking in when they're trying to care for that patient. I just quickly want to ask you, Tracy, for somebody that's maybe in a stage of their life now where a loved one or a family member, needs palliative care, but that's also currently pursuing active treatment, for an ailment. Is this still an option?
Absolutely, and I think that's the misnomer. Everybody goes, oh, they're in palliative care, so they're dying, And if you look at the pattern of medicine, in the past it used to be we go curative, 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 palliative, because now there's nothing left to do.
It's the little end bit.
That's the little end bit. So the new model is we refer to it as a bow tie. So the curative is big and the palliative is small. And then as cure doesn't become an option. So the cure gets smaller and the palliative gets bigger. And it's about that dovetail of medicine. It doesn't matter where you are in the trajectory of your illness, you should be getting palliative care. The goals of care change as things progress. So as we've gone through every treatment option and cure isn't becoming a possibility, so now our goals of care are, okay, we're not looking at cure. What we're looking at now is how do we give you the best quality of life with the quantity you have left? And it's about treating the pain, the symptoms other than pain, that holistic spiritual journey that you as a family and a patient are going on. And having those difficult discussions, and I think that's what the pandemic also brought out, was that people weren't having the discussions about what do you want? Do you want to be ventilated? Or would you rather just be comfortable and at home? And I think that made medical professionals and families sit up and go, crikey, we have to have these conversations. And I think that's where curative and palliative work together is when do we start changing our conversation? When do we start having those difficult, hard conversations about what I want?
And that is what's needed. It's not an easy subject to talk about, but it is so needed. And again, hats off to you and everyone in your field that is doing the most to, I think, secure a better light for palliative care, not only in South Africa, but I think worldwide as well. We're going to be back with Melissa and Tracy in just a bit.
Euan, thank you so much, my friend. An incredible discussion. We're going to continue one more part there, but let's hone in on something else that's very close to our hearts. The Wings for Life World Run returns to the streets of the world on Sunday, the 7th of May this year, obviously, as it celebrates an incredible 10-year milestone, 10 years of raising funds for finding a cure for spinal cord injuries and supporting the infrastructure around this community. Now, South Africa has had approximately 18,000 people participate in this event since the first one kicked off in 2014 back in Stellenbosch. And here to tell us more about this year's serious level up of the race is Run Ambassador and para-athlete Brandon Beek. Brandon, welcome back, my friend.
Thanks for having me.
So good to catch up with you, and I'm glad we've had a few moments to chat before going live, because it feels like things have changed dramatically in this space. I think it's vital to understand your perspective, because you're this factory for positive energy, this machine for pumping out purpose, for dragging people along with you, which is amazing. And I think people need to understand why this is so important to you. So talk us through how your journey brought you here. How did you connect with this amazing organization?
Well, they actually connected with my story about a year ago. This is my second year now being an ambassador for them, and it aligns with me so closely because I broke my neck in 2012 in a gymnastics accident, and my journey after acquiring a disability and a spinal cord injury was life-changing. And after leaving inpatient rehab, you know, it's to be a quadriplegic and living with that life-changing experience, it's tough. There's no guidance, there's no help. And the fact that there's so many people in the world who struggle with this on a daily basis, and there's so many people in South Africa who struggle with spinal cord injuries on a daily basis. We have 3 times the world rate of spinal cord injury incidents, and we don't have the infrastructure to assist those people who could be playing a role in the community and in the economy. And the thing is, Wings for Life is helping cure that issue, that spinal cord injuries. If there's a way to help people recover or improve, that's something I stand for, because I want to show the world and I want to show the community that if you live with a disability, that you don't have to be sad and give up on hope, and that you can still live a thriving life. And
and connect to the world and drive this purpose. But this is exactly it, and why I love the fact that you are here, kind of showing, if you look through a different lens, how unbelievably potentialized you can become, the power that you have. But this has taken a lot for you to get you, that mental struggle, the community around you, and the fact that we've got such high numbers of spinal cord injuries here with almost no support. How much of a difference does it make having a community like Wings for Life, before we get into the actual action of what's going to be going on, having this network around you to share information, just to know that there is someone else who's gone ahead of you on this journey? How important is that?
I think having people by your side, Wings for Life as an event, which we'll go into detail in a bit, encompasses the journey of us with disabilities. Is that, you know, you'll be pushing along or walking along or struggling along, and then you feel like you've hit a wall, but then you find out there's others who are going on this journey with you, others who are going through the same struggles, and you realize you're not alone. I got through this because of my family, because of my friends, because of my loved ones and my support. And that's what an organization like this is there for. It's to raise funds to show that those with disabilities and spinal cord injuries aren't alone on this journey, and we're all in this together, and we're all supporting each other to support a cause that is greater than us, because that's the only way we're going to make a difference, if we stand together.
Completely, and I think what COVID gave us was this sharing of knowledge,
Yeah.
of understanding the overlay, how the answers to one medical conundrum might help another, but we need to share and we need to be in that same space. So we're going to do it. We're going to get out there. The whole world is going to connect. So walk us through the event. How can people connect and be a part of what has become the most beautiful, almost global movement?
So the Wings for Life World Run is the world's largest running event, and it spans over so many different countries. The crazy thing is that it all happens at the same time worldwide.
It's amazing.
And ever since COVID, it's now become virtual. So now you can download the Wings for Life World Run app, and you register online, and with a small entrance fee of $1.99, which all funds raised goes towards spinal cord injury research. And once you're there, then on the 7th of May, you either run in your community and you run via the app, or you can join in Cape Town or in Johannesburg at the local events there.
Yeah, we'll have all those details up, yeah.
And yeah, you can run with a big group, and it all starts in South Africa at 1 p.m. And what happens is the timer starts, and you can go as far as you want. You can walk, you can push, you can use crutches, you can go for a run, you can go for a jog, but it's just about taking part and raising that awareness. And then the catcher car, in a sense, is released 30 minutes later, and the moment that catches up with you virtually, then your race stops.
It's done.
And go as far as you can. My goal is to beat my personal best, which is 6Ks.
Okay.
And I've got friends who are pushing beside me who want to push as far as 10Ks, so I want to challenge them.
Oh, now you know what you've done. Now, like the 10Ks is out there. So I have a feeling this is going to be more embraced than it ever has been before.
Yeah.
We talk about being purpose-driven. That's all you are. And I just keep thinking about if you didn't have the opportunity to tap into this, to open this mind, to be able to do this, where would we be right now? And that typifies what this entire event is about. We love you, Guy. You can do it, come on. 6Ks, he's got this, 10Ks, we've got this, 15Ks, whatever that line is for you, do it, because it's not for you. It's for a community that needs to know we are connected, and our collective focus is there finding a solution. And if we can get behind ambassadors like you, it makes it a lot easier.
Thanks so much. I'm gonna be in Greenpoint on the 7th of May. We've got a big group there, all inclusive, a whole bunch of people with disabilities and wheelchairs and stuff. It's gonna be the largest inclusive group, and love to invite people to come and join us.
They're a little bit crazy, but I think you'll love it. It's going to be absolutely amazing. We'll have all of those details up. Keep doing what you're doing, my friend. We love you. 10Ks, the gauntlet has been thrown down. See if you can go one better. But we absolutely love this notion. This is an act of kindness, and it's not random. That's what we're about today.
Whenever you have something really cold, and then you get this short, sharp kind of sensation, that's sensitivity. It can get worse. The problem is not going to go away by itself. I always recommend Sensodyne. It's specially designed to care for their sensitivity. And I've had people coming back to me saying it's made a difference. It works.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Now, Melissa Williams-Platt and Tracy Brand are still with us this morning as we wrap up our discussion on palliative care. Now, a palliative care team is made up of multiple different professionals that work with the patient, the family, and the patient's other doctors to provide medical, social, emotional, and practical support. And again, you see how important this palliative care is. Now, Melissa, I want to start with you. Your organization, Footprints for Sam, helps medical staff deal with critically ill children. How do you do that? What's the process?
Okay. So it's kind of one of the legs that we do, but there it's very much about giving them a platform, because we talked about emotional wellness earlier, and kind of a framework to understand what palliative medicine is. So to help them have those conversations, and to, where Tracy talked about kind of that bow tie, that the clinical is key, but often, how often do you hear them saying, we can't do anything else? And the family just is absolutely distraught.
Yeah.
So teaching them to have the conversation that we can, because even if that is a beautiful death, that is being active. Absolutely. And that is giving a family a choice, and a child. You know, often a child, they know they're dying, but the parents still have to play catch up. And I'll never forget when Sam was dying, one of the doctors, she's a professor, amazing woman, said to me, Melissa, you have to tell Sam that it's okay. It's okay to go. And who can say that to their child? But as soon as I did, he was able to let go. So those conversations are so hard. So I help them have those conversations.
Yeah.
And they can practice on me, you know. So we do role playing for exams, and they'll ask me. I'll say, just ask me the questions that you were terrified to ask someone before, and I'll be able to give you that feedback. There might be tears, don't hug me, but I'll be okay, because if I can change one medical professional to be able to have the conversations we were not allowed to have, and know that it's just a question. I'm not questioning you and your ability. It's just a question. To learn that compassionate, empathic approach sets you up for success.
It becomes so apparent how important this is. I mean, especially for parents.
Yeah.
And immediately my thoughts go out to everyone. I mean, I've been to the Red Cross War Memorial, you know, Children's Hospital, where you see these children, and like you rightly said, some of them know that they are not going to make it. And having those discussions, it takes emotional intelligence from the medical staff to facilitate that with the parents and the doctors, and making sure the child's okay. I got to ask you as well, we know that the palliative care is different when it comes to, you know, children and adults, but what are, in your mind, the common misconceptions around palliative care that people still walk around with, that you can dispel for us right here?
I think the biggest is that palliative care means you're dying. It's end of life.
Yeah,
and
put you in a facility and that's it.
Yeah, and it's not. It's as we've been saying, it's right from that point, maybe even before diagnosis, as in Sam's case, but right from the point where you know you're dealing with a life-threatening, life-limiting illness, is how do we do what's best for that child? And, you know, for Melissa and Fred, it would have been to enable Sam to actually go home. And he might not have lived 15 months, but he would have had the time with him at home, not stuck to 1,000,001 machines where you couldn't be
where he
parents.
Wasn't own, he could be his own environment.
Exactly. And I think that is, you know, when working with children, it's about helping parents make those difficult decisions of there's nothing more we can do curatively. So do you want to stay in hospital and your child potentially dies in hospital? Or would you like to take your child home? And we can help you manage their symptoms. And this is what you could expect is going to happen in terms of what their illness is and as the disease progresses. And probably 98% of parents will say, I'm going home.
Yeah.
But the paternalistic nature of medicine doesn't allow families to have that discussion. And so they feel the need, I've got to stay in hospital. We've got to do more treatment.
That's the way it's done.
Because that's the way it's done. And it's just about having that different conversation about what do you want? Oh, but don't I have to stay? No. If you really don't want the treatment anymore, if you honestly believe the treatment isn't helping and is making your child more sick, and the child wants to be at home and you want to be at home and you want the support, let's go.
Yeah. Melissa, I want to end off then with you. How do we start those conversations, whether or not it is with the doctors, the hospital, your child that might need palliative care? What advice could you give to, I want to focus maybe on parents, right now?
I think for everybody is to have the courage to have a voice. You need to stand up for your child. And they go, but what if they take it out on my child or on me? That is the standard response.
Yeah.
And we have to shift medicine to say that this is about a team, and the parent and the child is part of that team. Because as a parent, you don't hand over your rights. This is my child now, I'm just going to stand in the back.
And you feel that you need to just listen to what everyone is saying to you.
You know, I was in a private institution and I didn't know my rights. And I remember walking into Rahima Musa Mother and Child Hospital. They've been in the press a lot. We do a lot of work there. And as you walk up the stairs, there's the patient rights right there, right to a second opinion. You know, and we weren't allowed to have a second opinion. And I was, as I said, privileged, and it was still such a struggle. So we need to encourage compassion, kindness, generosity, curiosity, and know that we all are in it, what for? The best interest of the patient. That's all it's about. It's not about egos. It's not about you.
No.
It's about the patient and their quality of life. So in Sam's instance, there were other ways that he could have lived quite a good life, but we weren't given those options.
Yeah.
Because the doctors wouldn't say that, actually, we don't know and we need a second opinion. So we could sit here all morning.
I'm sure.
But it's such an important topic. And I think to end off, really, it's about collaboration and it's about reaching out, because the NGO sector, the funding is a problem for palliative medicine.
Melissa, Tracy, thank you very much for joining us this morning. I think our viewers took some valuable advice out there. As difficult as it is to have these discussions, they need to be had.
They do.
Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank
So
you.
lovely meeting you.
Lovely
Such
meeting.
a pleasure. Stick around with us on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Now, we are on the topic of health, so let's turn our attention to our incredible healthcare professionals. Now, pharmacists are not only brave, but they inspire hope within their community. And Pharmacy of the Week, it is a short feature acknowledging our incredible pharmacists. And this is our way to say thank you to these brave healthcare workers. And this is proudly brought to you by Adcock Ingram, sponsors, OTC sponsors of Brave. Now, let's take a look at this week's Pharmacy of the Week. We have Meander Pharmacy, Yuxkay Park in Johannesburg.
Our pharmacies are on the front line of healthcare. This is Pharmacy of the Week.
Well, I've actually lived and worked in this area for 20 years. So the community that I'm serving is actually family, it's friends of friends, and it's customers that I've had for a very, very long time. I went into healthcare to help people, and I like working in a small pharmacy where I can actually develop a personal relationship with my customers, so that it's not just dispensing medicine, it's actually following up, continuity, and walking like a health journey with them. So your pharmacist must be your partner in self-care. I mean, we've learned through the years that prevention in healthcare is much better than cure. So if the pharmacist is often underutilized with the knowledge that we have and the experience that we have and what we can prescribe without a script. Pharmacy-initiated therapy can play a huge role in our country. We all know how expensive healthcare is getting. And we're one of the only professions that you don't need to make an appointment. You can just walk in. We don't charge a consult either. And I actually read a statistic recently that 60% of patients that visit doctors didn't actually need scripted medication. They could have come into the pharmacy and got something over the counter and be helped with their minor ailments. So yes, pharmacists can play a huge role in that. It's amazing to be recognised by Adcock Ingram as brave and as a healthcare professional, as part of a team. And I thank them. It's a wonderful initiative.
Pharmacy of the Week, proudly brought to you by Adcock Ingram, OTC, sponsors of Brave. Inspiring communities, one pharmacy at a time.
Did you know that almost 1 in 5 South African adults suffer from chronic pain? Try new ActiPatch pain relief technology at the push of a button. It's easy to use and can be worn 24/7. Proven to relieve muscle and joint pain, low back and neck pain, arthritic pain, pain from sports injury, plantar fasciitis, and more. Easy to use drug and sensation-free pain relief at the push of a button. ActiPatch, long-lasting pain relief. Ask your pharmacist about ActiPatch now.
Oh, I absolutely love Pharmacy of the Week. It's wonderful to see these incredible pharmacists. And for that, we just want to say thank you to our local pharmacies doing amazing things for their community. We appreciate you.
Well, not that Zoe's looking underdressed, but she did need a little bit of help getting further dressed this morning. Of course, Woolies at the moment celebrating mothers, celebrating women's fashion in a beautiful way, allowing you the opportunity to spoil mom on a different level. In fact, 30% off all women's coats and jackets, and there's some beautiful statement pieces. And of course, we presented you with two that we would like to dress Zozo in, but she needed your help and your advice. So let's find out which way you guys are leaning this morning. Short and sweet, I love it. Taryn Hendricks saying definitely option 1. Wendy Harris saying love option 2. No, we're not going to send it to you, but no, maybe, just maybe. Love that. Let's see if we're going to sway towards a particular option beyond having a draw at this stage. Esme saying, good morning, Expresso team. Option 1 looks great. Daphne Nunley, morning, Daph. Hope you're having an amazing morning. Option 1 for Zoe. She says, she proclaims emphatically, it looks like option 1 is starting to edge out in front. Kerry saying, option 1, it styles up with your boots and elevates your outfit and figure. Warm, comfy, and stylish. I think she kind of drops the mic on that one. Absolutely loved it. Well, I think we have a reigning champion this morning. It was a choice between a fluffy teddy coat, which was option 1, and then the 2 was a classic trench coat. Both would have looked amazing, but let's see which one reigns supreme. Dun, dun, dun. The teddy is our winner.
I'm the teddy today.
That's super cute.
Listen, this is so cozy. I'm so happy option 1 won. I love saying that when option 1 wins.
Yeah, completely. And this does kind of, I dig what Kelly said there about it kind of taking the look as it stands, just one level up.
Just one level up.
Goes with beautiful, it's warm, it's cozy, and it's kind of chic in its cuteness as well. There's a nice balance. So I think you would have won with both, but this is very Zoe.
Thank you. This is very me. The studio is quite cold, so I am here for the cozy. You're welcome to cuddle up if you need to, but this is all my
I'm just imagining, where would the cats place themselves in the...
Oh, they would love this. They would be like kneading biscuits on the jersey, on the jacket.
It's a dough-kneading jacket. That's exactly what it is. It's beautiful. And you guys, you got style. Thank you so much. And the joy here is you get that 30% off. So warm up mom's heart and literally warm up mom with some beautiful coats and jackets from Woolies, and you get that 30% off selected women's jackets and coats, those statement pieces. But that's up until the 7th of May this year, obviously. And you can shop in-store, online, or on the Woolies app. Go and check it out.
I'm going to be flashing everyone all day.
The teddy flash.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for connecting with us as we connect with our incredible performer this morning. Danny Valet is a singer-songwriter creating absolutely beautiful music with her guitar and this incredible instrument of her voice while using an electronic stomp box. She is going to blow your mind today, and she's going to entertain us with a soulful voice that connects to the heart. And she's making a name for herself, not just here in Cape Town, but across the country, and for good reason. And she's going to share a little bit of that musical journey with us. So let's give a very feel-good welcome to Danny Valet. It's early. We're not a crowd of people. We're not a stadium full of people, which you deserve.
Well,
because
thank you so much.
you don't understand. I had the joy of stepping into studio while you were doing your first sound check this morning.
That was early this morning.
It was very early this morning, but it was like I was stepping into a concert space. I'm not going to reveal the song just yet because it's one of my absolute favorites, but thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You perform with this kind of assured confidence. Where does that come from? How long have you been in this game? Because I understand there's a familial drive here as well. What is this connection to music that feels so natural?
Yes. So while I grew up in a very musical family, our whole family loves music. And I think if it weren't for my parents, you know, kind of driving that in us as well, I wouldn't be here. But when I was little, I always kind of sang when I walked in a house and everything. And I think I was about 7 or 8 years old. My mom heard me sing in my room and she thought, oh, she's actually, you know, on pitch and everything. And she asked me, do I want to start with singing lessons? So I started with singing lessons when I was 9. I started with piano when I was 8. And that's kind of where my whole learning process for music and, you know, the building up with confidence and everything came, because that kind of learned me to perform in front of people, a crowd. I was very shy at the beginning. I didn't even want to walk with my guitar or anything. I asked my parents to walk with it. I was very shy.
Just, you know, have a mic.
Yes, but I mean, that was the whole learning process of getting to perform in front of people and just getting used to it and getting that confidence. And when I reached high school, when I was about 15 years old, I started performing, you know, I stopped with the competitions, I started performing more shows. I started at Car in 2015, and I think that's where I officially decided, okay, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
I think I've had a moment like that as well. It's when you step onto that stage and you feel that organic energy from an audience like that. There's nothing like it. So we're going to do our best to muster as much of a crowd as we can.
You're doing very well.
But we love it, and we have for you, and this is a very special treat. I love the fact that we get to be a part of your trajectory as she heads for the stars, because she is unbelievable, and you'll understand why in just a moment with an amazing song. I'm not going to say what it is. Stick around after the news. We'll get into this amazing performance.
Thank you, Graham. It's 7 o'clock. Let's take another look at those national headlines. Eskom announced yesterday afternoon that load shedding would move to stage 6 this week due to a delay in the returning of 9 generating units to service. Stage 3 load shedding was implemented until 5 a.m. this morning and then increased to stage 4. This will continue until 4 p.m. this afternoon, when stage 6 load shedding will be implemented until 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. Thereafter, the power utility said various stages of load shedding would be implemented. Customers were requested to check load shedding schedules. And staying with local news, the humanitarian organization Gift of the Givers says it has notified the government of 22 South Africans stranded on a boat in Egypt. They were working on a project in Sudan but had to flee due to the fighting in Khartoum and elsewhere. Gift of the Givers says the South Africans have been waiting for 3 days for permission to board a flight to South Africa. The SA Embassy in Cairo has been alerted of their plight. They don't have the proper documentation to board a flight home from Egypt. And moving to news abroad, Turkish forces have killed the suspected leader of the Islamic State group in Syria. Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has announced. Now, Abu Hussein al-Quraishi is said to have taken over the group after his predecessor was killed last autumn. Erdogan said the IS leader was neutralized in a Turkish MIT intelligence agency operation on Saturday. The agency has been following Quraishi for a long time, Erdogan said. The IS has made no comment yet on the reported operation. And the United Nations warned yesterday that some 800,000 people may flee Sudan as rival military factions battle in the capital Khartoum despite a supposed ceasefire. Hundreds of people have been killed and thousands wounded in 16 days of fighting since disputes between the Sudanese army and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces erupted into conflict on April 15th. UN Refugee Deputy Chief said his agency was planning for an exodus of 815,000 people, including 580,000 Sudanese as well as foreign refugees now living in the country. And Aerosmith, the world's famous US rock and roll band, has announced a farewell tour to mark more than 5 decades together. The band members, now all in their 70s, are well known for hits such as Dream On, Walk This Way, and I Don't Want to Miss a Thing. They broke the news, opening up Pandora's box one last time to present our fans with our Peace Out tour. Be there, be aware, beware. We will be bringing all the toys from the attic. Oh, something to look forward to. Well, on that note, that's where I leave your morning headlines. Let's take another look at your sport.
Exactly, Zoe. I don't want to miss a thing. You'll get that. Sorry, it was for the old viewers out there. Let's get into a little bit of footy news. Yes, we know what it looks like at the top of the PSL table. Let's go to the bottom, and it's getting tense now. Swallows earned a vital, life-saving 3 points, in fact, in their quest for safety after clinching a 2-1 victory against their CAF Champions League chasing Kaizer Chiefs opponents. So the Dubai Birds now up to 8th on the table, amazingly enough, on 34 points. Then down at the bottom, 16th place, Maritzburg, not looking good with 25 points. Then we've got 15th placed Chippa United on 26. Both have 3 games left. They can still force the calculators to be pulled out. I think this one is going to go down to the wires. And Chiefs' hopes of finishing as runners up to the league winners, Mamelodi Sundowns, and then, of course, joining Masandawana in next season's Champions League campaign, starting to fade now. Now 5 points adrift of second-placed Orlando Pirates, who seem to be gaining momentum at just the right time. Now, speaking of momentum, he's done an amazing job within Australia. Let's turn to rugby. And Rugby Australia boss Andy Marinos has resigned as of yesterday. That's 4 months out of the World Cup in France. But there is reason. He says it was time for him to move on after returning the organisation to profit. So the Zimbabwe-born 50-year-old, who we know well down south, was appointed chief executive in the late 2020. It was after 5 years running the Southern Hemisphere governing body SANZAR and doing a fantastic job there. And his departure comes just a week after the governing body announced it had returned the business to profit for the first time in 4 years. Now, Marinos was widely seen as being instrumental in helping revive the once cash-strapped organisation. Well, definitely not cash-strapped as an organisation. Let's turn to the IPL for a bit of cricket, and the Royal Challengers Bangalore. Their bowlers starred to secure an 18-run victory against the Lucknow Supergiants in a very low-scoring IPL encounter yesterday. So skipper Faf du Plessis, he does what he does. He top-scored with 44 to guide Bangalore to 126 for 9, which might have felt like a big threat trying to defend, but the bowlers did it. They bowled out Lucknow for 108 on a very tough batting pitch, and it was Josh Hazlewood and Khan Sharma, the destroyers-in-chief, with 2 wickets apiece. Du Plessis, once again, the orange cap holder with 463 runs behind his name in the tournament. And then we turn to tennis, and world number 2, Aryna Sabalenka, made light work of 16-year-old Mira Andreeva on Monday with a 6-3, 6-1 win to reach the Madrid Open quarterfinals. So the Russian youngster Andreeva, who was a wild card, became only the third 15-year-old at the time to win a WTA 1000 main draw match. That was when she beat 2021 US Open finalist Leylah Fernandez last week. Well, she has aged a year, not just in 1 week, but she celebrated her birthday. Unfortunately, didn't get the present she was hoping for. Then on the men's draw, there, Daniil Medvedev, ranked 3 in the world, edged out his good friend and Russian compatriot Alexander Shevchenko 4-6, 6-1, 7-5 to reach the 4th round as well. Well, we'll touch on those headlines again in about an hour or so. The roads should be waking up if you're heading to work. Let's get you there safely.
Let's take a look at the road, starting off in Johannesburg. There's a stationary vehicle. It's on the R21 northbound after Olifantsfontein Road. That right lane is blocked. Please approach with caution. In Albertine, there's an accident on the N3 southbound at Rand Airport interchange. The left lane is blocked. Please exercise caution or perhaps use an alternative route. And staying in Gauteng, roadworks are taking place on the N3 northbound before Van Buren Road. That left lane is affected. Please be safe on the roads. That's your traffic. Let's take another look at your weather. And we start off with some international weather news. 2 tornadoes that hit the U.S. East Coast over the weekend caused widespread havoc, damaging dozens of homes and overturning cars. South Florida experienced heavy rains and powerful winds on Saturday, where a video captured cars being flipped in the intense storm. The 2023 tornado season is intense, with nearly 550 preliminary reports of tornadoes and 496 tornadoes already confirmed in the 2023 in the U.S. as of April. There were 128 in January, 53 in February, 189 confirmed in March, and 126 in April. This total does not include all the tornadoes, as many haven't been reported. So far, every month in 2023 exceeds the average, with January's total the second highest on record. New research suggests that as average temperatures rise due to climate change, intense storms that spawn tornadoes are becoming more intense and wider spread. Well, that's your international news. We now bring it back to your sunrise views. Anthea Kruger kicking us off with your sunrise views. This photo was sent in from George and her misty morning view with the mountains far off. Absolutely magnificent. Then Sherry Ludick from Kimberley with this great image, the cloudy filled sky and the sun shining through her garden. Then we have JP from Robertson, and his view of a giant cloud blocking the sun is absolutely phenomenal. And Samantha from Pietermaritzburg shared her morning view with us, and look at the clouds ripped across the sky with different hues displayed. We love that. Please share your morning views with us on WhatsApp. Our number is 063 408 8863. Let's get into today's temperatures. If you're in Polokwane, a low of 13, a high of 28 can be expected. Mbombela 1733, Pretoria 1526, Johannesburg 13 with a high of 24. Mahikeng 1929, Klerksdorp 12 with a high of 28. Kimberley 6 reaching a high of 30, Bloemfontein 4 with a high of 28. Richards Bay 20 with a high of 28, Pietermaritzburg 16, 27, Durban 21 with a high of 26, Mthatha 12 reaching a high of 22, East London 15, 23, Cradock 9 with a high of 24. If you're in Gqeberha, your low is 13, your high 33, George 12 with a high of 21, Cape Town 11 reaching a high of 20, Worcester 8 with a high of 23, Sutherland 4 with a high of 20, and if you're in Uppington, a sunny day ahead with a low of 7 and a high of 29 degrees Celsius. Well, that's your weather for this morning. We'll have a final update shortly after 8.
I'm having the best time connecting with this incredible young artist. She has proven her musical chops. The body of work she's created before even becoming commercial is insane. But you're about to get a taste of the incredible vocal quality of someone who is headed for stardom. It's Danny Valet performing one of my absolute favorite songs, Valerie. Take it away.
Well, sometimes I go out by myself and I look across the water and I think of all the things, what you're doing. In my head I paint a picture. Since I come on home and my body's been a mess, I miss your ginger hair, the way you like strays. Won't you come on over? Stop making a fool out of me. Why don't you come over, Valerie? Valerie, Valerie, Valerie. Did you have to go to jail? Put your house up for sale? Did you get a good lawyer? your ginger hair, the way you like to dress. Want you come on over, start making a fool out of me. Why don't you come on over, Valerie? Valerie, Valerie, Valerie. Since I come on home and my body's been a mess, I miss your ginger hair, the way you like to dress. Want you come on over, start making a fool out of me. Don't you come on over, Valerie? Valerie, 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 why don't you come on over, Valerie?
Wow! My goodness! This is beautiful. Where can
Thank
people
you.
get this? I can understand now why you've got this cult following, why people are just losing their minds about you. How can people connect? Where can we see you perform?
So I perform, well, I post everything on my Instagram wherever I perform. So my Instagram is, yes, that's like the main place. Danny Valet Music is my Instagram handle. And then I'm on Facebook as well, Danny Valet. TikTok.
She wants to be on TikTok. She doesn't know
I am
how.
on TikTok though.
So post a little song, a little version maybe of this song, and
Yeah.
see if you can entice her out into the TikTok space.
Yes.
Danny is not going anywhere. We've got original music coming your way. 2 more performances. You are gifted, young lady.
Oh,
thank you
thank
for
you.
sharing that with us. Share some love on our socials. We'll see you in a bit. Absolutely.
Only you can make my day. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back, you beautiful souls. Thank you so much for reconnecting to this vein of positivity that we are tapping into today. We love the fact that the world is active and doing something for someone else, and we've got so many ways that you can do it, and this is awesome. So earlier this year, Woolworths announced their official partnership with Stillwater Sports on the award-winning road running series, ABSA Run Your City Series 2023. It's a series that takes place in 5 provinces, showcasing some iconic, absolutely inspirational landmarks, bringing those feel-good vibes, and we are here for that. So after a very successful kickoff in Gqeberha on the 2nd of April, they are gearing up for the Cape Town leg of the series, and that's on the 14th of May. The this year, obviously, and here to tell us more about this unbelievably fun event for all road runners out there is race director Sue Forge and nutrition manager Cindy Chin. Guys, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I feel like a kid in a candy store because so much is going on now. It feels like the world really has woken up. And it's not just a new normal, it's a completely different reality that we find ourselves in. I'm feeling this is going to be the best event yet. It's already kicked off. The response has been amazing. Put it in perspective. How much better is it now in the context of this year? Why are you guys so excited?
So excited. I mean, I think that's an understatement in itself. I think, you know, for years we've been presenting the series as 3 events in 3 major cities, Cape Town, Durban and Johannesburg. And we were very privileged. All these incredible partners and sponsors came along, and let's increase the series and let's expand it. So in 2023, we are presenting the events in 5 different cities. The first one...
For the people.
No, for the people. And I think for us, the most exciting part is the fact that people get to celebrate not only running and walking with family and friends and rubbing shoulders with the elites of not only Africa but South Africa, and bringing them to the fore and celebrating road running again, and celebrating the distance of 10 kilometers, where it is so achievable, whether you are running a personal best or whether you are, you know, a social runner, a walker, you shuffling it, you sprinting it. This is the race for you. And anybody can participate. And I think that's the biggest shout out. Whether you're lying on the couch right now, still in bed, wrapped up in your duvet.
Or not even listening, because you're out there running already this morning.
So get up, get out there. And 14th of May is Mother's Day. It's an incredible opportunity to celebrate with the females in your life. And get out there and celebrate being alive.
You got to decide though, are you either going to run for mom or with mom? And ask mom. Don't put it on her, okay? Ask her. I love this. And this is about layers to this. Yes, you get to compete with the elite, and that's how it feels. It feels like, oh my word, I'm running with the best, literally the best athletes in the world, because they come from Africa and they come from South Africa, which we love. But it's those layers underneath. Get up, move, be healthy, nutrition, prepare. The fact that we're opening this up to such a beautiful big community, what advice do you have for people wanting to step into the space? Because it's about building the blocks for a healthier life. Mental movement, yes, get that 10K, you're going to feel better, but you are building a healthier body. What advice do you have for those warriors that are going to be tackling the series?
In a nutshell, good nutrition is important. I mean, you could wing it, as we say, but you're not going to enjoy it. I mean, you really want to enjoy the moment and the experience. So good nutrition is really the foundation of just nourishing your body to be at its best on the day. I mean, 10K is not the same as a marathon, but you still need the basic building blocks to fuel your muscles so that you can actually enjoy the race day. So that's one of the things. It's just good basic nutrition to fuel your muscles so that your muscles have enough glycogen stores to actually get through the race, the 10Ks. It's also to keep you fit and healthy so that your immune system is up and running. You don't want to get the sniffles like you've been training all this time and then you get the sniffles.
And you fall down at the finish line. Yeah, exactly, which happens.
You don't want that.
It happens.
You don't want that. So making sure you have enough hydration for the day, because it might be a pretty hot day, or so your sweat losses would vary depending on the climate. So you just make sure that you train adequately for that. And then the thing is also, don't try anything new on the day. So train with good nutrition so that on the day you're used to it already. Yeah, exactly.
I absolutely love it. Then this becomes the model for doing this every day. There is something so special for me, my mental health recovery post-COVID, and all of us lost something and had some crazy time. Movement. It was running one step, literally 1 block more than I did yesterday. There is something in that. There is also something about running through the streets of Cape Town. What about this particular leg makes it, kind of takes it to a different level? Because there's something so motivational about having the people around you, but you don't even notice you're running half the time because you're just there. What sets the Cape Town leg apart, do you think, Sue?
So what's so different about the Cape Town event is that from inception, it's been the only event that's been a point-to-point event. So it starts in Milnerton and it finishes in Cape Town CBD. So it's the only event of its kind to run the route. It's the only event to run on the N1. When are you ever going to have the opportunity to do that? So it really
Probably only during COVID.
Yeah, true story. So I think really it is a celebration of the city, and it's a celebration of taking the My City bus. So you arrive early in Cape Town CBD, you hop on a My City bus, you travel through to the start. That in itself is the energy, and being on that grand parade, being in front of the city hall, the music, the energy, grabbing the bus, the hype, and getting through to Milnerton, and the warm-up that starts the day to get you ready and in your start shoots, and then you are just running to this beautiful, majestic Table Mountain the entire way until you get into Cape Town CBD. You take in the streets of Adley and Strand and Whale and Long, and I mean all these amazing streets and iconic buildings, iconic locations, and we just use this day to really celebrate coming together, running, being alive. I think to your point, coming out of COVID, it really has been a celebration of coming together and being healthy and celebrating, just continuously talking about being healthy, looking after yourself, looking after, you know, yourself mentally, emotionally, health-wise, and it's so important in terms of that holistic balance that we're trying to achieve.
It's vital now.
Yeah.
There is another component to that, and it's the love. The things I've learned running with my bus about nutrition, about health, about mental strength, about caring for each other. And now we can do it in person. We can get out there and reconnect. And I've got to say, the gratitude we feel to be able to link up with organizations like yours to drive this narrative, it's not just nice to have anymore. It's vital. People are going to get so much out of this. The cities that you are now connecting to, 5 of them, are going to get so much more out of it. Thank you so much for doing this. 10Ks. 10Ks, that's all it takes. I joke about it, but 10Ks is all it takes. The sense of achievement for running that amount of distance is amazing. It might be the switch in your head that you need. So make Mother's Day completely fun this year by entering the ABSA Run Your City series. And the Cape Town leg, of course, taking place on Sunday, the 14th of May, Mother's Day. Make sure that you enter for that Cape Town leg before the 8th of May, please. But you can get all of the information you need at runyourcityseries.co.za. But we will keep those details up on our website as much as possible. Share your training tips, share your support with the other runners, ask for nutritional tips if you need them. We've got the experts here. Ladies, thank you so much and enjoy it. Embrace your city. Go out and move.
Thank you, Graham. Well, you know, we love running here on your Feel Good Breakfast show, whether it's road running or trail running. The benefits of this kind of exercise, it really is endless. Now, the benefits of running beyond the physical is also great for your mental health. Being outdoors gives us that fresh air and the vitamin D that is crucial to leading a healthy lifestyle. And here to chat more about the benefits of running and trail running are Melanie Bunder from Running Wild and Bryony McCormick, who is here with us. It's so great to have both of you here. And we love talking about running. So today, that's all we're going to do. Bryony, I mentioned now that there are so many benefits to running, but can you highlight some of the benefits that comes and the difference between road running and trail running?
Sure thing. Okay, well, the first thing is the main difference between road and trail is road running is obviously done on the road, on the tar, and trail is generally on trails on the mountain or off-road. And then the benefits, I love that you kind of started with talking about the mental benefits, because there are the obvious fitness benefits, the happy endorphins that are released when you're doing sport or training. But the mental benefits are huge. Being outdoors, being immersed in nature, being forced to kind of concentrate on the trail and practice mindfulness is really just kind of, it's like a great healthy coping mechanism for health, for stress and anxiety. Yeah. It's kind of a balancer for anyone that's really living like a high-paced life. It really, so the mental benefits are huge for running.
Definitely.
Anything to add?
Lots of it. It gives us a lot of time away from home. I think lives are so busy at the moment, and a lot of people either work from home, as much as it sounds appealing. Your time isn't your own all the time. So to be able to take an hour or 2 hours out away from any office space. And I think in Cape Town, where we're based, you almost have no excuse not to hit a trail because you could hit one by accident just leaving your
You can hit it by accident.
You can. So I think, people just have to stop making excuses not to do it. And I always say to the girls that we run with, it's as easy to talk yourself out of doing something as it is to talk yourself into doing it.
And I think we all tend to do that. We talk ourselves out of things because of the fear of the unknown and we're sometimes not knowing where to start.
Correct.
But Melanie, I'm hoping you can shed some more light for us. Let's talk about Running Wild. It is a trail running organization based in Cape Town. Who is it for? How can people join? And what exactly are you
All right,
doing?
so our main mission is to make trail running as accessible and inclusive as we can to as many people as we can. And Bryony and the likes of many of the groups like Chicks Who Trail have really done an amazing job in setting up the infrastructure for people to join. But it's quite difficult for somebody to go from a base of 0, having either never run before or never having run trail before, to suddenly join a group. It's quite intimidating.
It is.
So we have a beginners program that runs for 8 weeks, and it takes them from 0 to 10 Ks. It's an introduction to trail, it's an introduction to the trails we have, but also to running in general. And I think it's a great bridge between people who have never been exposed to trail and the existing, trail running groups. We've got hundreds of them and are doing amazing jobs. So to bridge that they feel a lot more comfortable accessing those groups and joining, because sometimes people who are already in an established group, they're running and they are comfortable. And to be a beginner, you're thinking, oh my word, these mountain goats are amazing. I'm never going to be able to do that. You will one day if you want to, but I think for a beginner, that's where we're focusing on. We really want to make it that anybody who wants to join can feel comfortable to do so.
I love that. And you know what? We all have to begin somewhere in order to get comfortable in it. But let's talk about Chicks Who Trail. That is a trail running group that you started for women. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
So just to kind of add to what Mel was saying, it's a group for women, and I wanted to start something where women would feel comfortable joining, because it can be intimidating starting a sport like trail running where you don't know where to start. Is it safe? There's people, you said mountain goats that are like already really good and they arrive in all the gear, and it's really terrifying. So the group was started to be safe, to be a warm, inclusive space for women who wouldn't normally just join an established group of runners, and that's where I started it. And I've found that in doing that, and I'm sure it's similar with you offering something for beginners, we're getting so many women that just needed that little space to get going. And it takes 1 or 2 weeks, and they're on the mountain, they're having the best time, and I've provided the space that they can do that. So that's kind of what it's for.
Yeah, just the nudge to be able to do something that's they didn't think they were able to, and once their eyes are opened. We see people going from leaps and bounds who were shuffling at the back of a 1-minute run and 2 minutes walks, who are finishing 21 kilometers now.
How incredible. I love that. And you know what? The running community, whether it's road running or trail running, it is a beautiful community. So Bryony, Melanie, thank you for joining us. And do go and check it out. Chicks Who Trail, you can find them on social media at Chicks Who Trail. And Melanie's Running Wild, you can find them at runningwild_ZA. Do go and follow them. All the information on how you can join, when they and where they gather, all of that is available on their social media. And stick around because we've got a fitness session geared towards running. So stay tuned.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. It is your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's Expresso on S3, and we are joined today by personal trainer Johnny Moritz. And a critical part of your recovery process after a run involves stretching. Now, when the muscles are warm, they are more flexible, and stretching them at the point can also improve your range and motion and accelerate recovery. But more specifically, when it comes to stretching right after a run, it can also help reduce muscle and joint stiffness that can occur post-workout, also known as delayed onset muscle soreness that we all know so well. Now, Johnny, he is here to show us some of these stretches and also get into a little bit of mobility. Johnny, it's great to have you here. I attempted doing the marathon last year for the very first time, going from zero, following a running program. And yes, something that was emphasized was stretching and conditioning your muscles. And I feel like every now and then you skip that, the one thing you shouldn't skip.
Yes, I've got a lot of friends who start running and they just go straight into the run. It's important to do mobility before you go into the run, just to make sure the muscles aren't tight, make sure you get full range of movement in the joint, and obviously warm the body up so that you prevent injury.
Oh,
I'm going to take you through a bit of mobility drills, something that, no one really wants to lie down when they start running. They actually want to just have a quick one when you're standing up. So the first one we're just going to do is stretching out the hamstrings. You're just going to kick a leg up on the one side, 10 on one side. Stretching out the hamstrings.
And just really get it flowing.
And into the glutes.
And this is something you can do. I mean, like you said, if you're getting ready for a run, you do not want to sit down, especially if you're leaving first thing in the morning, the ground is wet.
Switch side. Yeah, it's something that you need to do. You definitely have to do this, but you've got to make sure that you get all those muscles fired up.
And warmed up.
Okay, so the next one we're going to go for is the toes wide. We just go inner thighs. We're just going to do a twist, get some rotation in the hip. Breathing in, breathing out. Make sure you always brace those abs. Breathe through. You've got to make sure you keep moving because you want to get that body nice and fired up for the run. Breathing in, breathing out. Tilt, and then you tilt that pelvis, brace those abs. Okay. From there, we're just going to go into a bit of side raises. So you kick it out. This one is, if you are unsure of how to do it, also hold on to something. You're just going to kick it out.
Just
give me 5. Get those glutes to activate.
You have to focus on
also
your
helps
balance.
with stability of your feet. And swap over, other side.
No, I'm loving this. This is something I feel like everyone should do first thing in the morning, just to wake up. Never mind going for a run.
Definitely. Okay, so a bit of knees, feet together, and we're just going to go little circles, 5 to right.
Yeah. So, Johnny, you're a personal trainer.
Yes.
For someone that wants to get in touch with you, perhaps, they're new to running or just getting into the gym, getting active, how can they get in touch with you?
My wife and I run a personal training studio. We do one-on-ones and small groups. We also focus a lot on runners, also moms as well. And we run a studio at the CHS Centre in Kirstenhof, so we're very community-based. And from there, we practice all our training.
Oh, fantastic. So
Okay,
now
so
we've
yeah,
warmed up the
yes.
hips, we've warmed up the knees. What else
Okay,
can
so
we warm up before our run?
the last one is the calf, because you want to work down. So you first warm up the glutes. From there, you're going to warm up and also hamstrings. Now you're doing the calf, also onto the heels. So calf raise. Because trail running, you've got to make sure that those ankles are nice and flexible when you're going over rocks. Very common injury is the ankles, twisting of the ankles.
And no one wants that.
No one wants that.
Yeah.
And then the upper body as well.
I love
Because you also use your upper body when you're running to make sure your shoulder blades are gliding together.
Fantastic.
And just some shoulder rolls back.
Oh, I'm warmed up. I am ready for the show. Johnny, thank you so much for showing us a great way to just really focus on mobility If you are a runner, this is a great way for you to warm up and obviously protect your joints and those muscles. Johnny, just one more time, if people want to get in touch more about the fitness center that you guys have, where can they find you on social media?
They go on Facebook, in training, also onto the CHS Centre, we're also on there, and then also, yeah, we've also got a website coming. So.
Oh, fantastic. So make sure you follow them on social media, stay up to date. And Johnny, thank you so much for that. Give me a high five.
Well done.
There we go. Hopefully you enjoyed that warm-up too.
Oh, I am loving the vibe today. Hopefully this has inspired you into action. You're thinking about moving, thinking about doing something for someone else, thinking about investing somewhere, doing something to make your mark. But let's start with our bodies, where you really should start every day. And I think a good nutritional plan is key when it comes to preparing for any race, but especially those big ones. It's important never to compromise on optimal nutrition before, during, and after those hard training sessions where you often push yourself more than the actual race. And then, of course, on race day, you want to achieve maximum performance, whether you're an armchair weekend warrior like me or you're a pro. And here to whip up a quick and easy smoothie is our favorite dietitian, Cindy Chin. Well, we've got into some deep conversations about saving the world, so now let's just save our gut and save our body. Cindy, thanks so much for being here, because we're obviously tapping into a wonderful running community, and the nutrition is vitally important. For me, it's what's made or broken me in the bigger races that I've done. We've got the building blocks right here, and it really can be this simple. Just put it all together. So work us through the thought process here and these super ingredients that we're throwing together.
So what we've put together is something that is very tasty. That's the first thing about good
Which
nutrition.
does help, believe it or not. It really does help.
And also for those of us, sometimes you don't want to eat something solid. So this is a drink, a smoothie. So really great if you've got a bit of the jitters, pre-race jitters, and you need something that's drinkable. So this is what it is.
Ah, but that's so funny. And before TV, I can't, if I'm doing a big show or something like that, I can't eat
either, no.
Smoothie.
A
Just
smoothie is
it out.
fantastic. So we've got some fruit and
Did you see how I made it almost impossible for me to put the banana in there by chopping it into tiny little pieces that would roll around?
Let me not slip on the banana.
You can actually just put the whole banana in. If you want to, you could just put the whole...
Then we've got oats, which is great because it's a bit of fiber and slow-release carbs. So what you want, yes, and beta-glucan for lowering cholesterol. So this is great for if you need slow-release carb. You don't want to be running up the hill before the race starts.
For sure. So manage that sine wave.
Exactly.
Try and make it as gradual as possible. Okay.
So this is for slow and steady, which is great. The dates for sweetness, you can pop that in. Give me some work to do.
Yeah, you've seen my prowess in throwing things around the kitchen.
This is almond milk.
Almond milk
green
first.
milk. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's so you could actually swap the sides for dairy if you
want that.
Not plant-based.
Okay.
The great thing with whey protein in cow's milk is that it's a great after recovery.
For sure, for the muscle
muscles,
recovery.
Yeah. So whey protein is particularly good combined with chocolate, actually proven chocolate milk after.
Please say proven to camera one more time, just so people actually hear that.
For the right people who have trained.
Wow, okay.
Really good for muscle recovery, but this is great from just from giving you all the amino acids you need for muscle recovery after exercise. And then the nuts for some crunch and some taste. You can use raw almonds.
And some good oils in there as well. But there's a reason why kind of almonds and almond milk have shot to the fore, because there's a nutrient-dense ingredient that also tastes great, that works well in the space. So I absolutely love it. It's my go-to. And then we have got our breakfast seed mix.
So again, good fats and also a bit of fiber. And also good for the digestive system. So as I said in the previous segment, don't try anything new on race day, because this could get your tummy really working.
They're flax seeds. Yeah, I'm seeing flax seeds, so just be very well aware of that, and ask Bruce Fordyce about flax seeds and running a long-distance race and how that plays out. I think that's the best thing.
So definitely test before you do that.
And then a little bit of ice. And I mean, it's up to you, know your vibe and kind of from a mouthfeel and texture and those sorts of things. So again, don't make stuff that you're not going to like just for the sake of it being healthy. Do something that you're going to enjoy, that you can keep going back to. Absolutely. And I'm finding if I can substitute at least 1 or 2 of my bigger meals a day, I'm going to maybe leave it there, with a really well-made smoothie or a shake. And obviously I'm upping the protein now. That's my phase of journey. But eat for what you need. If it's energy that you need, then eat for that. If it's recovery, eat for that. And there are so many sources. There we go. And I think texture is important. So, like, for me in this case, because you've got the seeds and the nuts and the, give it a good go. You don't want to be left with, like, all the nutrients kind of stuck down at the bottom. Okay, we'll do that for now. And it's as simple as that.
Simple as that.
I'm finding with my kids, it's a great way to kind of invest them in the meal process and find out what they like, because you can teach them about the health benefits from the earliest age, that building block, as you always call it, that kind of base level up. They must know why they're eating what they're eating. So if they like something, let them know that it's the potassium and the magnesium, it's the feel-good, the banana's your kind of antidepressant for nature. They must know these things.
And even if you're growing things in the garden, spinach, beetroot, just to add some colour, if you like that, that's a really great way to create interest and excitement. Or berries are fantastic for that as well.
Sure.
Great antioxidant content and fibre and sweetness.
I challenge you to tell me this doesn't look like the healthiest drink you've ever made. Cindy, thank you so much. Hopefully you can see that a little bit has sunk in over the years.
Fantastic.
Beautiful, beautiful way to start your day, maybe help you through those hard yards or recover. And it is so important to follow a good nutritional plan leading up to the race day. And you can find this delicious smoothie recipe on taste.co.za. Happy running. Happy drinking.
Whenever you have something really cold, and then you get this short, sharp kind of sensation, that's sensitivity. It can get worse. The problem is not going to go away by itself. I always recommend Sensodyne. It's specially designed to care for their sensitivity. And I've had people coming back to me saying it's made a difference. It works.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back, you beauties. Thank you so much for joining us for what has been the most enlightening show and inspiring. And if you're in the grips of chronic pain like I've been for the longest time, you can relate to this. I think we all dream of that day of freedom when it comes with not having to worry about aches and pains. Got to the point where my kids groan when they stand up. They're so used to seeing me do it. Well, ActiPatch is here, and it's new, and it is clinically proven in the treatment against chronic pain that doesn't go away. And they gave 20 lucky viewers the chance to win an ActiPatch device by answering the competition question on our social media pages, and you've stepped up. So thank you so much. Well done. Today we are very excited to announce our next 4 winners. So let's introduce them to you. First up, congratulations to Manisha. And this, I think a lot of people could connect to. Excuse me. She says, as a diabetic, I have excruciating back pains on a daily basis. Hashtag ActiPatch. Hopefully, this can help you. We have got a little bit of relief on its way to you. Then we had Faislin weigh in as well. And I think this would relate to a lot of people. She said, I'd like to gift my mother, who is a chronic pain sufferer, spinal osteoporosis, which can be excruciating. With this, she can only use paracetamol, which doesn't always help. This is a different approach, long-lasting pain relief from a different angle. Hopefully we can help you, Faislin, or at least help your mother on a fundamental level. Then we had Chloe weigh in as well, looking gorgeous in her post-pic, and she said, from the age of 11, I have suffered from fibromyalgia. How often have we spoken about this in the modern condition? I am a dancer, which makes the pain so much more frustrating. This would truly be amazing. Well done for saying that. Thank you so much for being vulnerable, because a lot of people are dealing with fibromyalgia right now, and I'm glad it's getting the traction that it needs. And then finally, our fourth winner in this round, Lorraine. Congratulations, Lorraine. She weighed in, also nominating her mom. She said she's had osteoarthritis for a long time, and I'm sure this would help her. Feel sorry for her because she has 24/7 pain. I have had very close connection to this kind of narrative. It changes your experience of life in every way. So I hope we can offer you some relief. Just a little bit will go a long way. So congratulations to all of you guys. Thank you so much. The quality of those entrants, absolutely brilliant. There is no better feeling than the relief from chronic pain. I can speak from very, very extensive personal experience. Let's go out and live life to the fullest.
Now, we all want to know what exactly goes into the food that we are eating. And for our next guest, Research and Development Technical Manager at Rainbow Chicken, Tasha Archery, is her passion. Now, she's here to talk about the development phase of Farmer Brown's Nourish range and the challenges and the interesting curveballs from development to shelf. Now, it's so great to have you here, and I'm so fascinated because Farmer Brown's Nourish range, of course, we love it here. And from a developmental point, what were some of the things you had to take into consideration when developing this range?
Hi, Zoe. Thank you so much for having me. I would say right at the onset with this Farmer Brown Nourish range, we looked at the key product attributes that needed to be achieved. And some of them are 100% breast fillet, 100% South African chicken, MSG-free, preservative-free, a really nice succulent chicken core, and the last but definitely not least is the Heart and Stroke Foundation endorsement.
And that is what is key, because to get that Heart and Stroke Foundation endorsement, you have to tick certain boxes. What were some of those things you had to aim for to meet those requirements?
So when we went into this, there was no benchmark product that we could compare or evaluate in terms of the nutritional analysis and I think the overall product delivery. But at that point, we knew what the Farmer Brown Nourish range would bring to the table and believed it was worth a shot at that heart logo. The Nourish range is really made with premium, carefully sourced ingredients with the consumer in mind at all stages of that product development.
And to get that little heart, of course, a big focus is reducing the number of sodium. Now, what levels of sodium does the Farmer Brown range, Nourish range contain, and how did you guys manage to make sure that you reach that target?
So sodium is present in our diets and it occurs naturally in most foods. In the processing environment, sodium can be added by means of salt as a flavor enhancer or even as a preservative. Too much salt in the diet can result in high blood pressure or contribute to currently existing or worsen existing high blood pressure conditions. For the Nourish range, we had to aim for the sodium to be below 450 milligrams per 100 gram of product. On our first attempt, we were slightly higher.
Okay.
We then had to go back to the drawing board, look at the sodium contribution of each ingredient going into the range, reformulated, redid the nutritional analysis, which resulted in the approval from the Heart and Stroke Foundation.
That is so exciting. I mean, to be able to, go back to the drawing board and to retest and I'm going to use the word play around, but I know for you, this is your job. Can you tell me some of the things you love most of being part of that development team?
So this project was quite interesting, but I would definitely say that launch production run. It just tied everything so nicely together. The product ran down that processing line. It got packaged in the punnet with that really beautiful artwork, with that heart logo glaring right back at you.
Yeah.
That was pretty epic.
And how much of the tasting do you get to do?
A lot.
Oh, listen, that is amazing, because what is incredible is the Farmer Brown Nourish range. It is packed with all the nutrients, the fiber, the minerals, the vitamins. Can you highlight some of those, what people can find when they do buy the Farmer Brown Nourish range?
So on our whole grain chicken fillet, we chose quinoa and linseeds, and both of those ingredients are superfoods. Quinoa can be considered heart healthy because of the omega-3 fatty acids, while linseeds are really rich in fiber. Personally, I love this whole grain fillet. It has a stunning visual paired with that nutty and slightly earthy flavor undertones from the quinoa. The next variant is the lightly breaded. So how it usually works for a coated product, it's a 3-step process. But to deliver that lighter, more delicate crumb, we went with a 2-step coating process. And then in terms of overall nutritionals, the lightly breaded has the lowest sodium value amongst the 3. Our last variant is the sourdough chicken fillet. Fun fact, our sourdough contains actual authentic sourdough made all the way in Gainsborough, UK. And I think that really leads to that delicious crunch that you get on that crumb. And sourdough in general has many minerals and vitamins that is beneficiary for day-to-day health.
Listen, that's what we want. We want to put the good things in our body. Tasha, thank you so much for joining us. And this really is incredible, from freezer to fryer, which is what we want. And it's time for you to win 3,000 Rand cash with Farmer Brown. Now, to enter, reply to the competition post that is on Expresso's social pages and tell us, what do you love about Farmer Brown's crumb chicken and why? Don't forget to include that hashtag Farmer Brown. The competition will close on Monday, the 8th of May at midnight. There are T's and C's that can be found on our website. That's expressoshow.com.
Farmer Brown's Nourish Crumb Chicken Breast, proudly made with the healthiest ingredients to fuel your body with wholesome goodness. They taste so good because they eat so good.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
What an incredible morning, and thank you for joining us and choosing your Feel Good Breakfast show to start off your day. And you're joining us just in time, as it's my turn to talk to our beautiful and talented singer and songwriter, Danny Valet. Now, Danny, you are soon traveling to Germany. What are you going to be doing there?
Well, definitely going to sing there, perform full-time. Well, I'm already performing full-time, but there I'm also going to do that and just follow a little bit of my dreams and, you know, experience the culture and the music, that side. I've got a contact/friend that's been freelancing and doing music full-time there for 4 years now. So, but he's a guitarist, so we're going to perform together when I get there, and I'm going to work with some of the producers there, and just kind of learn the music culture and everything in Germany. So I'm very excited.
That sounds exciting.
Yes.
The big question is, sprechen Sie die Deutsch?
Yeah. Now you're putting me on the spot now. Actually, I told you earlier I'm doing
some lessons.
Yeah, some lessons, but now I was like blank.
Don't worry. You know what? I ended up doing Germany as part of my university course, and when I ended up in Berlin, I couldn't speak a word.
So you were in Berlin. That's exactly where I'm going, actually.
You know what? If you can go back around the Christmas time, do make that. It is really special with the Christmas market. Are you hoping to have some German influence to perhaps your songwriting?
I don't think necessary German influence, because I'm going to travel a little bit, you know, like to the Netherlands as well, because I've got a few friends that live in the areas of Europe. So just overall the Europe music influence, I think. I've heard that the culture and the music and the arts there is very big, and the support for that is also very big. So, but I'm definitely hoping with coming back with a lot of, you know, different sounds and genres. I try to keep it diverse with my music and bring in new vibes, so definitely.
And you know what? That is what traveling does. It exposes you to so many diversity, like so much diversity.
Yes.
Now, your next song that you will be performing after our news and weather and all of that, you're going to be singing in Afrikaans. Are you going to perform some of your Afrikaans songs in Germany?
Yes, I'm definitely going to. I actually asked a few Germans that I met, you know, because Cape Town has a lot of tourists. So I kind of asked them, just because I was curious, what would the people, what would they think if I would actually sing in Afrikaans? And they told me there's actually a few artists there that also sing in Afrikaans, even though they aren't Afrikaans. So I am definitely going to sing my songs there as well.
Oh, well, listen, we are so excited and we're so happy that you are here. Danny Valet on your Feel Good Breakfast show. She's got another performance coming your way, but first, let's catch up with those morning headlines.
Thank you so much, ladies. Let's start here in South Africa with what's tracking on our national news front first. And 2 more former employees of Group 4 Security Services have now been arrested at their homes in Bloemfontein in connection with the escape of convicted murderer and rapist Thabo Bester. So Bester allegedly staged his own death and escaped from his cell at the Mangawang Correctional Centre in May last year. They will appear in the Bloemfontein Magistrates Court today on charges of assisting an inmate to escape from lawful custody and defeating the ends of justice. SAPS National Spokesperson Brigadier Atalenda Mate said there had so far been 8 arrests and more could follow. And staying here in the country, Eskom announced yesterday afternoon that load shedding would move to stage 6 this week due to a delay in the returning of 9 generating units to service. So stage 3 load shedding was implemented until 5 this morning, then increased to stage 4, and this will continue up until 4 p.m. this afternoon, when stage 6 load shedding will be implemented, and that's up until 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. Please plan accordingly. Thereafter, the power utility said various stages of load shedding would be implemented across the country. Customers were requested to check load shedding schedules. Get the app. That's going to be my suggestion. That's where we leave our national news for now. Let's cast a wider gaze now on the international front, but we stay on the continent. Nigeria, which the UN expects to be the 3rd most populous nation in the world by 2050, has now postponed a census which was due to start tomorrow. So a new date will be set by the incoming government, the Information Ministry said, as it announced the latest delay to the country's first census in 17 years. So long overdue, and the census had been scheduled for tomorrow to Sunday, but the ministry said more time was needed to plan for it, and it'll now be concluded by the new government of President-elect Bola Tinubu. Then Turkish forces have now killed the suspected leader of the Islamic State, or known as IS, in Syria. Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has announced Abu Hussein al-Qurayshi is said to have taken over the group after his predecessor was killed last autumn. Erdogan said the IS leader was neutralized, in a quote, in a Turkish MIT intelligence agency operation as soon as this last Saturday. The agency had been following Qurayshi for a long time, Erdogan said. The IS has made no comment yet on the reported operation, so we'll certainly watch that space closely. Now we bring it back home for a beautiful story that will hopefully inspire action in your world. A retired Limpopo teacher from Zimwauli village near Toyondu in Limpopo has received enormous praise for an incredible act of kindness and commitment, and it's certainly warranted. 65-year-old Anna Rabulana has built a state-of-the-art creche for her poverty-stricken community with money from her own pocket at an astronomical cost of 700,000 rand. Now, she dedicated this to the community, to her people. It's the first of its kind in this very much poverty-stricken village and includes offices, a sick bay, an ablution facility, and beautiful classrooms. A local church donated a piece of land for the building of the facility, and Ramabulana retired some 9 years ago due to ill health. She said her passion for education and love of children were her motivation. Ramabulana said, and we quote, "I'm a teacher by trade. I adore children and I wish them to have neat classrooms." What a notion. Ms. Ramabulana, what a wonderful gesture. Thank you so much. We all doff our caps to you, and hopefully that's inspired others into action. But that's where we leave our news for now. So it's got the latest on the traffic front.
Thank you, Graham. Let's take a look at the roads, starting off in KwaZulu-Natal. Now, there's been an accident. It's on the N3 eastbound before Pavilion Interchange. The left lane is blocked. Please approach with caution. And in Cape Town, there's congestion on the N7 southbound at Bosmansdam ramp. Please use an alternative route to avoid delays. In KwaZulu-Natal, there's a vehicle broken down on the N2 northbound before Umgeni Interchange. One lane is obstructed. Please approach with caution. That's your traffic. Let's take a final look at your weather.
Thank you so much. So let's start our weather report with some global weather news. And Spain recorded its hottest ever temperature for April this last Thursday, hitting 38.8 degrees Celsius at Cordoba Airport. I mean, we know that, Uppington, I know, but it's very rare for this part of the world. So this after a blistering heat wave driven by a mass of very hot air from Africa entered the country with temperatures between 10 and 15 degrees Celsius warmer than expected for April, which is a significant leap. The high temperatures come on top of long-running droughts in many parts of Spain, as we've been reporting on. Some reservoirs now only at 25% full. And this raises the prospect of early forest fires, with the National Weather Service warning that large swathes of the country could be at risk in that regard. Spain saw the most land burnt of any country in Europe in 2022, alarmingly. Last year was the hottest summer on record for the area. Now, Dr. Samantha Burgess of the Cornicopus Climate Change Service says climate change is playing a pivotal role in weather events, and this includes the heat wave in Spain at the moment. There is your proof. Now let's turn to some of your beautiful sunrise views, and a big thank you to Dini from Pacha's Neck and her morning view of, oh, look at that, an almost clear blue sky, beautiful mountains, not too far off, stunning. Thank you so much for that one. Sakina from Durbs, and her magnificent aerial view of the beach. Look at that. Of course, Durban, we know the sun rises over the ocean, gives us these beautiful pictures. Luiso from GQ and his blinding image of the sun's glare and cloudy-filled sky. That is impact. Bah, I love it. And lastly, Henry from Kleinmond, one of my favorite places, his breathtaking view of the ocean. Oh, that will leave you speechless. That's how we want to wake up every day. Please share your morning views with us on 063-408-8863. We'd love to see how you wake up in the world. Well, let's see how you're going to feel in your neck of the woods today with those temperatures. And we start in Polokwane, 13, your low, going up to 28 degrees today. As we move to Mbombela, 17, your low, going up to 33 degrees with a 55% chance of rain. Pretoria, 15 and 26. Johannesburg, 13 and 24. Moving to Mahikeng, Gauteng, your low 12 going up to 29 today with a 25% chance of rain. That increases with thunder showers thrown into the mix in Klerksdorp, 12 your low going up to 28 degrees. Kimberley ranging between 6 and 30. Bloemfontein, 4 your low going up to 28 degrees. Richards Bay, 20 and 28. In Pietermaritzburg, you start your day at 16 degrees, thawing out at 27. Durbs, 21 and 26 your range. Mthatha, you start at 12 degrees going up to 22 degrees. East London, 25% chance of rain in your neck of the woods, 15 your low going up to 23. Craddock, 9 your low going up to 24. Gqeberha, 13 is where you start your day, 22 degrees is where you max out. Moving to George, 12 and 21 your range for the day. The Mother City, pretty moderate, 11 your low going up to 20. Moving further inland, Worcester, 8 is your minimum going up to 23 degrees. Sutherland starting to feel the change in season, 4 your low going up to 20. And Uppington, very moderate by your standards, 7 your chilly start, but you max out at 29 degrees. But I have a feeling right now we are all going to be forced to just chill because we've got an amazing performance coming from an amazing young performer.
Yes, and she's here and she's ready to perform for you. Danny Valet on your Feel Good Breakfast show. She's about to give us a sneak peek of a song that's only releasing in May, and since we are in May, here she is with her title Liefdeskind. Before you get into it, what is Liefdeskind all about?
So Liefdeskind is a song that I wrote at the end of last year, and it's kind of like the different transitions that you go through while you are young. And you know, well, that was my situation. Like, I kind of didn't really know what was going on. I knew what was going on around me, but you never really focus on the more important things. And then there's one, it can be a person or a moment or a situation that can kind of like change that around completely for you, for the better, you know. And I kind of explain everything in the song, so it's in there. But it's releasing next week Friday on all digital platforms, so I'm very excited for that.
Well, we are super excited, so make sure you support Danny Valet. Liefdeskind is die liedjie wat sy nou vir ons gaan perform, so we are ready for it, so take it away.
Thank you.
Ek was net 20 jaar oud toe ek groot geword het. Jy sê dat ek is mal, maar ek weet dis die waarheid. Kom ons pak ons goed en ons vat 'n kar na die maan en verdwaal in hierdie droom. Sien jy die vrou wat met vra en al antwoorde staan? Sy roep my naam en ek neem net 'n tree terug in hierdie blou lig. Jy vat my hand en jy fluister dit als is okay. Ek wil hê jy moet by my bly. Ja, ek wil hê jy moet by my bly. Luister mooi, hoor jy wat ek hoor? Ek het my aandag verloor op 'n oomblik van jou. In my hart, dit klop soveel ritmes. Alles voel net tydloos as ons dans in die wind. Ek is 'n liefdeskind. Ek was nog altyd 'n onvoltooide storie. Hoekom wou ek nooit in myself glo nie? Jy het opgedag en gevra wat gaan dan met my aan. Ek herhaal It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back, you beautiful souls. Thank you so much for rejoining what has been the most validating conversation. It's showing us how much love there is in this country and how much willpower is being put into action. So let's focus on one of those stories that's going to let us all have a lot of fun, yes, but get behind something that is absolutely amazing. Wimpy is a proud sponsor of Reach for a Dream. We know that organization. It's one of their partners for their Slipper Day campaign. And back Friday, the 5th of May, this week is their biggest fundraiser of the year. By buying just a 20 Rand sticker, just 20 bucks, South Africans can join the mission to fulfill the dreams of children fighting life-threatening illnesses. Spend some time in that ecosystem to know how powerful these moments can become. Last year, over 8.3 million Rand was raised. This year, the aim is to go for 10 million. 10 has been our lucky number this morning, helping 2,000 children experience truly unforgettable moments of joy by having their dreams fulfilled. And here to tell us more about Slipper Day and supporting Reach for a Dream is Wimpy's Slipper Clad brand manager, who starts her day with a burger, Jodie Law. And that's not even a joke, because she does actually start her day with a burger at the airport. Jodie, we love you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
We love you for your slippers. Little rainbow llamas, I'm guessing.
They're little llamas.
Mine are giant feet, toes. I absolutely love these. It's an easy ask. When an organization like Reach for a Dream, when you understand what they actually do in that mechanism of what their function is, give them everything. Give them every ounce of support you can.
Exactly.
If it were that easy, every organization would be getting this kind of support. It's not the case. There is a match here. There is a click here. There is something that speaks to you personally and to your organization. What is that emotional connection here for you?
So, you know, Wimpy has been a proudly South African brand for over 55 years now.
The OG. It's one of the OG brands for me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we are a place where the young and the old are welcome. And we're all about families, and we're very family-oriented, which is why children are such an integral part of who we are. And then you have Reach for a Dream, and they're one of South Africa's most loved organizations. And they have been around for the past 34 years. So when they actually approached us, it was the perfect platform for this partnership. And with the alignment of our two brands, we've been able to take Slipper Day itself and grow it, and now it's actually Reach for a Dream's largest fundraiser of the year.
This is sales. You guys know sales. You know your algorithms, and I think we let emotions stand in the way of progress far too often. I can't play in this space. It's just too hectic, too raw for me. So days like today are terrifying for me. So I can imagine what it's like for you to have to go into the space and work there. But when you see the flip side, when you see what a dream achieved means for these young people, what has it been like being a part of that narrative?
It has been absolutely phenomenal. I mean, like you said, they make dreams come true for these children with life-threatening and often terminal illnesses. Yeah. And we have partnered with them because it is so inspiring. These children are filled with hope, strength, and courage to overcome their illnesses when you make their dreams come true.
At that critical time.
Exactly. And it helps them to believe that tomorrow is worth fighting for.
For sure.
And it's not just about the children. It's about their families too. It's about the entire family unit. Because by making that child's dream come true, you're also instilling hope in the parents. I mean, we were chatting earlier, and as parents, the thought of something happening to your child is just unfathomable. It is not something you ever want.
Or your brain can't go there almost.
You can't.
That being said, I'm so glad you raised the issue of family, because children are amazing. They inspire hope, they feel hope, they believe, they have imagination, they have tools that we get beaten out of us by the time we get to adulthood. What terrifies me the most is sitting down with the parent, not the child. It's a different prospect here. So the fact that you're supporting that ecosystem is amazing. All of this being said, what do we need to do? How can we help you get to that 10 million? The fact that you were able to get that close last year means we can do it this year. How are we going to get 10 million raised for Reach for a Dream?
So from today up until and including Friday, get to any Wimpy nationwide. And it's also one of the reasons we actually support Reach for a Dream is because we have such a large footprint. These Slipper Day stickers are accessible to all South Africans. So buy that Slipper Day sticker at any Wimpy nationwide. And on Friday, wear your slippers with your sticker to any Wimpy, and to sweeten the deal, we'll give you a free cup of famous Wimpy coffee.
Oh, thank you.
But also, don't only wear your slippers to Wimpy. Wear them the whole day. To work, coffee date, lunch date, dinner date. You know, the weather's changing. It's an excuse to wear these slippers.
I would love to see a really high-end restaurant filled with only rainbow llamas and giant toes and things like that. Obviously, don't take your Wimpy coffee into that kind of establishment, okay? The crazy thing is, we have a tradition in our family of Wimpy breakfasts. It's our thing. It's so bizarre that you've interwoven yourself into the DNA of families. Why? Because that's how I grew up. I had Wimpy breakfasts with my mom. I understand the familial sense of what we can do here. We've seen the impact. Now let's go and do it. Are you going to get 10 million this year?
Of course we are.
You're
Of course we are.
10.5, maybe.
We will get
Come on. No, it's amazing.
With the support of fellow South Africans, we can make these dreams come true.
It's as simple as that. And these dreams are amazing, and they will blow you away. It's not often massive things, big things, costly things. It's what matters most to that child. And never forget, this is what this is about. That child. And don't forget to visit your nearest Wimpy restaurant to get your 20 Rand Slipper Day sticker and, of course, your breakfast between now and Friday. That's the 5th of May, and it'll continue on Friday. Then, most importantly, wear your slippers proudly wherever you are going, but especially at your Wimpy, where you start your day with your breakfast on the 5th of May, and then enjoy free, regular, famous Wimpy coffee, which is the perfect way to start your day. And the best part, you'll be making a fundamental difference in the lives of children and their families facing these unspeakable situations. So I'm going to raise a toast. Shame. I suppose you've had your fill of your amazing Wimpy coffee.
Every single day.
I absolutely love it. I'm going to say thank you for doing this. Thank you for opening yourself up as an organization to be this vulnerable, to prove that you are literally putting your money where your mouth is. It matters. I get to see how much this means on the flip side of that coin. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Just going to go get a burger right now. And all I can think about is a Wimpy breakfast. Now, all I can think about is how people want to do something. They want to be that positive change. We've just got to provide the way to do it. And this is how everyone can.
Oh, I'm obsessed with these cute slippers. I mean, look at my little unicorn slippers. These are absolutely perfect. Well, Graham, I need you and your big feet to come and join me, because today has been all about showing you those random acts of kindness and really brightening up a person's day. Now, you don't have to do a lot, or you don't have to have a lot to give, but just a little effort or time, you can make a big difference in someone's life. So we have decided we're going to turn to the world of TikTok and see how some people have all over the world been going about doing random acts of kindness. I personally find it very strange when you do a random act of kindness and film it, but each to their own.
Hey, listen, it's good to get the message out there however it's happening. So let's focus on a TikToker driving this narrative. Isaiah went to his local grocery store and shared random compliments to strangers. Let's see how they reacted.
Excuse me? I just wanted to say I really love your hair.
Oh, thank you, baby.
It's really cute.
Thank you,
and
baby.
you look really good.
Thank you, baby.
Excuse me? Oh, I just wanted to say I really like your red pants.
Thank you. That was unusual for me.
Excuse me? I don't know if anyone's told you this today, but you have really beautiful hair.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's really cute. It looks really good on you.
Oh, thank you. It's so nice of you to go out of your way to say it. I appreciate it. You're so sweet.
Oh, that is really sweet.
It kind of hits home that people are so surprised to get a compliment. Come on, we need to do a little bit more of that. Eh?
Oh, definitely. And you know, it's very easy to do that. Well, let's take another look, because another creator chose a different route and left little kindness day boxes for random strangers. Let's check this one out. very cute.
It kind of looks like the prom for a bit there. Now people are going to be headed out the prom. Like, oh, hey, I want a box. I love that. Just because often it's that tipping point moment. It's just that moment where someone's possibly going one way. You just brighten them up just a little bit.
Now I'm just thinking everyone's going to go pick up litter, hoping it's a gift.
That's some kind of positive message. You know, it might be a paper with a message written on it.
Well, let's take a look at this one. So our next video is going to give you all the feels. Listen to what this mom says when she was on a flight with her baby, and just proving a little patience really goes a long way.
In October, I had to take one of the hardest flights back home to the U.S. from Japan. My daughter and I had to fly back to bury my grandmother, someone who was like a mother to me. And it was this kind stranger who was so patient that made this flight just a little bit easier.
Aww.
I've been there. Lynn's just recently flew back with both kids in that space, and it's crazy.
Not easy.
It really isn't, because you're kind of shoved in everyone's personal space, and you can tell a person what kind of a person they are very quickly in that moment. Oh, bless you for being that. Now, I think we've seen so many influencers doing random acts of kindness and filming them, but what makes the next video great is that what the recipient had to say at the end. This puts a different spin. Take a listen to this.
Excuse me, sir. Sorry to bother you. I lost my wallet. Do you have like $2 to catch the train?
Oh, sorry. Hold on, caller. Hold on.
Thank you so much. What's your name?
My name is Patrick.
Thank you so much, Patrick.
No problem, buddy.
Where are you from?
I'm from Nigeria.
Why did you say yes to me?
Oh, why not?
That's so kind of you, man.
More kindness.
Thank you so much.
No problem, buddy.
So pause, Patrick. The first person who was gonna say yes to me, I actually do have my wallet on me today.
Really?
I was gonna bless a stranger, so I'm gonna give this back to you.
Oh my God.
With $1,000.
You don't mean it?
I'm that serious, man. Can I give you a hug by any chance? Come on. Love you, dude.
Love you, buddy.
What's your message to the world?
My message to the world is simple. Always be kind to your fellow human being. Show love and always be happy. That's it.
Oh,
Man.
that is special.
It is very special. You just don't know. Even within the context of your job, you just don't know what someone is going through. You don't know what that little seemingly random, and I think we must stop calling them random acts of kindness. These are intentional acts of kindness, which is a beautiful thing. There is nothing wrong with being intentionally kind in the world today. So we challenge you to go and show some of that intentional love and kindness. You can film it, someone else can film you, we don't care, we just want to see the love, because I can guarantee you one small act could change a person's life in that critical moment. So even if it's just going to give someone a hug or show them your amazing slippers, go and add some positive energy in someone else's space.
I can't get over those feet.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back, you beautiful souls. Thank you so much for joining us. Today's show just matters on a different level, and I hope we've been able to connect you with that purpose. Now, we're going to continue speaking about, I'm going to change the name from random acts of kindness to very intentional acts of kindness, which is amazing. And while we got you excited for Slipper Day, yes, I know my feet look amazing, we're going to shed some light on the incredible differences that Reach for a Dream as an organization, as a family, make in the lives of children fighting life-threatening illnesses. Hayley Rowley from Reach for a Dream alongside Zachary January, a beneficiary, now join us in studio. Thank you so much for joining us. Both terrified, I know, because TV is crazy, man. Never mind that you've survived the worst things that can ever happen to a person. Now you're nervous on TV. I love the fact that we are here together because the timing is good. So thank you so much for being in this place right now. Because there's a reason, because it's your purpose. Hayley, what is the purpose here? When we talk about your amazing organization, I know a lot of us have a notion of what you do, but from your perspective, what is that mechanism? What do you do?
So just to define what Reach for a Dream does, we fulfill the dreams of children who've been diagnosed with life-threatening medical illnesses between the ages of 3 to 18 years. And it really is our mission just to provide hope and inspiration to these very brave dreamers who are facing this massive journey ahead of them. And whilst we know that we can't change the diagnosis, we can certainly bring a little bit of light into their life by providing these dream moment fulfillments, which we believe does impact their journey, giving them more of a positive outlook and hope to carry on, letting them know that tomorrow is worth fighting for.
No, completely. Well, you make the hero chemical pump in their brain. But literally, that's what happens. It's been proven in science at the moment. Some of the breaking medical research, there is something in this. It's just the family as well get to be a part of this journey. It's not just the recipient of that dream. So Zachary is here. I know very little about you, so I feel like I would do you a disservice if I try to pump you up with an intro. So I'm going to let you do an intro here. Give us a bit of background on this incredible young man's journey.
Sure. So our process is we'll receive a referral from a hospital or a parent or whatever. You know, we'll just validate that they would qualify to be a dream recipient. So Zachary was one of those referrals that we received. We met him in hospital last year while he was undergoing his treatment for osteosarcoma. And part of our process is getting to know the dream a little bit more so that we can try and embellish their dream the best way possible according to that specific child. And it was very evident that Zachary is a real rugby fanatic and he loves Brian Habana. So when we had the opportunity to create a meet and greet between the two, we jumped at the chance. And yeah, we managed to fulfill one of Zachary's dreams of meeting his hero, Brian.
Oh, buddy, I've been there. I had to work for about 15 years in my career to get to a point that I could warrant being able to interview Brian Abada in these critical moments. Buddy, first of all, how are you right now?
Right now, I'm extremely excited to be on the show.
Good.
I've been doing well. It's been amazing. Like, I've been doing amazing. I've been recovering, going strong, and I'm still continuing.
Well
And just with Reach for a Dream, it's been amazing with the way they've been helping me.
Being a part of that process, but before we talk about what it's done to you and everything, just meeting Brian, he is a gem. What was that experience like?
That was an amazing experience. That was astonishing. Himself, his presence is amazing. He is, like really, he's just a star. Meeting him in person, I have no words for it.
I love the fact that when other rugby players get to meet Brian, they're like, it's Brian Habana.
Yes.
And he is. There's so much love there. I love the fact that you've plugged into this community. What do you think that's meant for you and for your family, having people around you like this who get it, who understand just how intense and hectic your life is?
Having people like them, or just them in general, for us, it's a lot of relief because we go through a lot, and they're just there for us. And we're having that comfort, it's lovely. It's heaven sent, that's all I can say.
There is so much love and positivity. I was terrified to broach this because I've worked with your organization over the years many times, and it's so raw and it's so emotional and it's so real. But when you get to this point in a story, how does that make you feel? And what does this mean for the team when you get these kinds of just organic, beautiful moments? Yes, I know it's contrived, but the output, the result is so much bigger than the sum of the parts.
You know, it really is so fulfilling and rewarding to know that anybody can actually play a role in making a difference in their journey. And for me, Reach Your Dream is something that is really has to be something that's felt from the heart. And I truly believe that the journey with our dreamers starts from the very first interaction because it's all about hope.
Yeah.
It's like, tell me, what is your biggest dream? And then we go back and we see how we can actually fulfill that dream.
Get to that point.
And when you get to come full circle and see what it actually has meant, is really like the impact of it. We do believe, you know, hope is such a powerful thing that we all need to hold on to, and knowing that you've been a part of that is just, it's so rewarding and such a special journey. And to have parents come back after the performance and say, you'll never know the extent of like how much you've actually helped us through this journey. And like you said, it's not just about the dream, it's about the family as well.
Who live with that,
including them. You know, everybody's going through a really challenging time. So to be able to give a little bit of time out and allow them to forget about everything that they're going through is just incredible.
You know, in my experience of doing probably about 20,000 interviews and trying to understand what this is, hope isn't a gift you give to someone. It's a form of strength that you grow and you build. And that's what you guys are doing together. It's not a passive thing that you give away. It's something that you strive for, and you have to have the strength of character to be able to get there, which you have proven you have as an organization and as an individual. Can we say, Brian, we love you, guy? I think I need to interview Brian Banner again. We're going to continue chatting about this amazing organization and these incredible stories in just a moment.
Oh, my heart is full. This is what I love, because those beautiful acts of kindness, it really goes a long way. Now, G-Man, I'm going to invite you back in here with your giant feet as we still don our cute slippers.
It's the toes for me.
It is the toes. They are quite, I think it's because it looks like your feet.
It does. They actually do look like my real feet.
Well, listen, we want to focus on this next story, because what happens when two famous American actors acquire and run the third oldest football club in the world?
Oh, it is awesome, and it's really, really funny. It also inspires an entire community to think and dream bigger than their little small town. So, of course, we are talking about Ryan Reynolds, who we know and absolutely love, and Rob McElhenney, and they are now the owners of Wrexham FC. You probably heard that name or seen it on social media, and the idea came from Rob after Ryan slid into his DMs about the deal. Long story short, the club has now been promoted back into Football League after 15 years after winning their league title. This is a fairy tale.
How incredible is this? Now, let's take a look at why Rob felt it was so important to take on this project.
That's most important to us, is that, you know, as a sports fan, I've been watching American football, hockey, basketball. I'm from Philadelphia, and those are my teams. And I've always tried to indoctrinate more and more people who think watching sports are not for them. And what you learn very early on, and what I try to expose to teach to people, is that's not really about what happens on the field. It's that you get invested in the players, you get invested in the people of the community who you're sharing those experiences with.
That, I mean, it's incredible. I think if there's one thing, we know that sport brings people together.
Oh, for sure. It is. It's the tie that binds us. And after 15 years, the club was able to win their league and now go back into the professional football league, which means so much to this community. But this was the reaction from Ryan and Rob themselves. Take a look. You don't understand. So I've obviously had a front row seat for English football and the leagues below the Premier League. And we kind of think of football as being this big kind of money machine. It's their religion, it's their culture, it's their community, it's how they identify themselves, regardless of what league you play in. So for this community, that act of kindness, and I know Rob Reynolds and how they're playing, they've got billions to play around with. He's made a massive success of himself over the last 3 years. But he's done that because he is purpose-driven. every one of his massive projects has a reason why he's doing it beyond the commercial outtake. And look what that has borne. This is incredible.
This is incredible. Hopefully that was that feel-good dose that you needed for today. I think it's incredible. And I mean, like we said, football is one of those things, sport in general, that brings people together. And, you know, it all comes down to backing something that you truly care about. And that way, your intentions behind showing up for those random acts of kindness, or whether they are intentional acts of kindness, they really help to make a big difference in the lives of others.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back as we continue our discussion with Hayley Rowley, the Western Cape Regional Manager of Reach for a Dream, an incredible organization. She's joined by a dream recipient, Zachary January. And we are here for all kids. For all kids, for the love of children, for the love of the imagination, for the love of dreams, because that's what drives us as children, and that's what drives you as an organization. I'd like to get a little bit practical now, because I think far too often the emotion stands in the way of practical action. So if someone wants to engage with Reach for a Dream, wants to take the step towards change, because that's what you guys do, you change the narrative. How do they do that? What's the best way to engage with you guys?
Anybody can contact us at any time, whether it's via our telephone, landline, email. There's a portal where people can submit a referral through the hospital environment. Honestly, they're more than welcome to reach out. And what we found as well is that very often when we create other activities and initiatives for our families, it creates also a support structure for them, because, you know, they're in the journey together, and it's just letting them know that they're not alone in this fight, and the emotions that they are going through is normal, and like a mommy
in fact, it's
or
expected. That's what should be happening, yeah.
You know, a mommy or a dreamer chatting to another mom or a dreamer about their journey, I think it's very powerful as well, because it's kind of organic. They form their own support support structures and help them to cope through that process.
And they've been there. And they are there. They're experiencing that alive as we speak. So we put it to you guys at home to talk to us about the notion of kindness. And obviously it's playing out in a particular way here, but how do you see these so-called random, now not so random acts of kindness? Let's hear from you.
Derbyland is collaborating with Reach for a Dream and supports Slipper Day on the 5th of May. We want to challenge our sister school, Kleuterland, and all the schools in Durbanville. Are you up for the challenge?
We most certainly are up for the challenge. I love that. It's Slipper Day. You've got to see my toes. You've got to see the toes. And the bizarre thing is my feet actually do look like this. They're actually a perfect replica of my feet with my one skewed toe. Zach, it feels like we're having a conversation that is normally only had between a doctor and parents behind closed doors in a hospital, which is heartbreaking. Because so many kids, I know you might feel like you're suffering from a rare condition that no one else can understand, but suddenly you're in a room where everyone else is going through that same journey. To know that you are going on a journey that other people have done, have conquered, have been there, have found meaning, have been able to be happy in that space. Do you feel like your life has changed as a result of this community around you? What's been that trigger, if you will, to become this person who's sitting in front of me?
Oh, my life has most definitely changed. Okay, for what I feel that trigger was just to see that my parents, my mom, smile. So having people assist me with that has been the best thing for me. So when we go through things like this, we struggle with ourselves, yes, but to see your family and close friends struggle is so much worse.
Yeah.
So for you to see them smile and for them to know that you're going to be okay is the biggest relief we could have. So when we see them happy, that's just our trigger to know that we fight on for this reason. We want to prosper so we can see our family and friends be happy.
What are your parents' names?
My mom is Antoinette. Unfortunately, my father has passed, but my mom is my biggest star, so moms. We're
gonna make this like a Mother's Day week for the rest of the rest of the year. In fact, we will just make this Mother's Day. But I can't tell you how much I'm feeding off your energy right now, and I think the world needs this kind of energy right now more than ever before, because it's a crazy place to be, especially for a young person. How can we support you? What is the critical element for your support? How can we make you, allow you, potentialize you to do more of this?
So I think, obviously we are highly reliant on stakeholders from whatever industry.
Money, money, money.
Money, but also services in kind, There's so much that we can do and there's so much opportunity out there. So when we embellish a child's dreams, it can be something like going for a drive in a fast car, going on a boat, a weekend away at a hotel. So there's lots of opportunity to be involved. But yes, obviously in terms of the actual dream tangible fulfillments, we do need the money. So that is where Slipper Day comes in, because that is our biggest national fundraiser for the foundation. And as was mentioned earlier, this year we're hoping to achieve 10 million rand.
Not hoping, going to.
We're going to.
Going to, yes.
And we'd like to, fulfill over 2,000 dreams this year for the children that we work with. So it's a big number. And we really do need all the help that we can get. And I just want to say, in terms of our stakeholders' involvement, people are amazing. And just thank you to everybody who has already come to the party and supported us in this initiative and in other ways as well, because I think that you'll never truly know the power of a dream until you see the impact of that dream fulfilled. And everybody out there who are purchasing their 20 Rand sticker, you are a part of that.
Yeah.
You're helping us achieve
literally
our aims
a vital
and
part.
making dreams come true like Zach's.
Antoinette will know. Zach, you will know. The rest of us won't know, and that's perfectly fine. All I really care about is that the two of you get where you exist in our hearts, and that's the bottom line. This is the world we live in now. We care and we love for each other. That's awesome. I love you, Guy. I love you so much, all of your organization.
Thank you.
This is absolutely beautiful. Visit reachforadream.org.za right now. If you can help to create dreams, do that. If you're in need of a dream, connect with them today. And make sure on Friday, slipper day, get your slippers on, baby, the 5th of May.
Oh, well, listen, I've got my slippers on and I am ready, but we are connecting with you on social media because this morning we asked you to be part of the conversation and we're going to listen to those voice notes. Let's take a listen to the first one from Karusha. Good morning.
And good morning, awesome Expresso team. It's Karusha Sadhu from Pietermaritzburg. My acts of kindness, be it big or small, whatever you do to actually help someone and change someone's life and put a smile on their face makes a difference. Whether it can be helping them with food or extra clothes that you have at home, sharing a blanket with them. Sometimes all a person even needs is love and someone actually listening to them. Have a great day, guys.
Thank you, and thank you for being part of this conversation. We also have a voice note we would love to share with you that came through from Mrs. Moodley.
Good morning, Feel Good Expresso team. Love the morning breakfast company. I interact with people quite often, be it my people or people from the informal settlement, all because of the servicing of the community through my dressmaking skills. Most of the time, all the time actually, I should say, I offer them a little sweet biscuit, cake, a fruit, whatever I have at hand. I'm always giving it to these people. Even if somebody comes and asks me for a job, I always give them something to eat in return, even if there's no job for them. But the beauty of the whole thing is I interact so often with these children from the informal settlement that I'm always even educating them on the different aspects. Thank you. Have a blessed day.
Oh, thank you, Mrs. Moodley. We love hearing your voice and thank you for being that figure in your community. We appreciate it. Well, we love hearing from you. So tomorrow morning, we'll have a new post with a new question for you to get involved in. So stay tuned as we still have one more performance to bring your way.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. It is your Feel Good Breakfast Show, and thank you for choosing your Feel Good Breakfast Show to start off your fake Monday. Yes, it is Tuesday today. If you did enjoy that long weekend, we have Danny Fillet with us for one final performance, and here she is with one of her originals. This one is titled True Colors. Enjoy.
I think I'm losing my mind. Can't really say that it's a good thing. You know you catch me all the time, wrapping me around your little fingers. I think I'm losing my mind. My father said you're no good, but I don't really want to listen. My head is spinning over you, trying to get out of this deep end. I know you're no good. My heart got caught in your disguise. The man I see in your eyes is a true guy. You sweep me off my feet, but underneath I can see your true colors. I can't run, but I can't hide from all the poison that you feed me. I don't know what's wrong or what's right. My head is taking to this game. What I wanna hide. My heart got caught in your disguise. The man I see in your eyes is a true guy. You sweep me off my feet, but underneath I can see your true colors. I think I'm losing my mind. Can't really say that it's a good thing. You know you catch me all the time, wrapping me around your little fingers. I think I'm losing my mind. My heart got caught in your disguise. The man I see in your eyes is a true guy. You sweep me off my feet, but underneath I can see your true colors. You sweep me off my feet, but underneath I can see your true
We love and appreciate you so much. Thank you for being a part of this amazing journey. Give us a bow. You incredible human being. Daddy, we love you so much. Thank you for sharing the incredible talent in you. Thank you for sharing the love.